table full of melanites. If the body gon' shine, I don't need the ice. It's real tough. Yeah. Speaking on the times, cause my people need to see. Third eye blind, no, they lying through their teeth. They tryna loop the time, tryna keep us in a sleep. But you know we gotta rise like the steam in the heat. Quantum physics to a beat, how time zones lead. It matter just the data that your brain gon' see. Alchemy, you master all that photon light. Avatar, the body, just the temple, do you see? The deity surround me, I put a peace. Breathe deep, I push G like Bruce Lee. Yo, it's Dragon Ball Z. I Super Saiyan 3, and we finna walk them down. Any town, any street. New world on horizon, I can see the silver lining. Cause the sun gon' shine, then we all keep shining. Mighty lion can heal the pain, you know his name. But they stand on the same old thing. They playing, well let's talk about it. Round table full of melanites. Crystal body gon' shine, I don't need the ice. D&G, me, you gon' see us rise. My people so divine, know it's our time. Let's talk about it.
Let's have the conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's have the conversation.
I don't wanna hear that he say, that she say. You're listening to parasites on replay. They tap into my phone to listen like we on three-way. It's tap into your aura, feel the energy like heat waves. Let's talk about it. Who you praying to? When you start to lose your mind, who is saving you? If you're moving through the time, what's the energy that's moving you? I wanna have the conversation. We always dropping gems back and forth like great debating. We making our own way, our own land, our own pavement. Just suiting up the spaceship. I like to wake up with the sun. Say my daily mantra, speaking cryptic, speaking tongues. Tell them what I'm after, we the one and get it done. I feel my enemies around me. 7 deadly sins, they tryna trap and keep me bounded. I'm not staying around, I get my people, then I'm outie. Yeah.
Round table full of melanites. Crystal body gon' shine, I don't need the ice. D&D, me, you gon' see us rise. My people so divine, know it's our time. Let's talk about it.
Let's have the conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's have the conversation.
Greetings. Greetings and gratitude for tuning in to Let's Have the Conversation. I hope everybody out there is doing well. How's the panel?
Good.
Yeah. I see we have a new face up there in the corner.
Yes, we have a special guest host. Miss Ty is in the building.
Greetings,
Miss
Miss
Ty is in the chat.
Greetings.
Yes, sending greetings to the committee out there. Tonight's gonna be a good show, y'all. I think so.
It definitely is. I'm supposed to upload this. Wait a minute. I'm always doing some shit. But while we're getting started, I'm just gonna read it. That's okay. I could just do that. While we getting started, y'all, first I would like to just go ahead and set the tone. Tonight is about religion, of course. But this is the thing. I want everybody to be able to speak, say what it is that they need to say, voice their opinion. We can definitely debate about some things. I ask that everyone is just respectful. We're not going to call people out of their names. We're not going to tell you that you are incorrect. You're not going to tell us that we're incorrect. No matter, everybody on this panel might not even believe the same thing, So it's about everyone voicing their opinions. We have a few people that are backstage that are going to come up with us. As you know, this is StreamYard, so you're only allowed 10 people at a time. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have room for 3, and then we'll bring them down and we'll bring up, our other ones, because I think we have 7 in total. And so we're going to get started, y'all. But tonight is religion. What's it all about?
Indeed. What is it all about?
So, let me introduce you to our guest panels. We have Miss LaShanta Fields.
Greetings,
LaShanta.
Hey.
We have Ashley Russell.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
And we have Miss Asha. And so, of course, we have a few more people that we'll be bringing up. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Now, what's happened? Why I can't get Chaz back up here?
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. It's already 10 people? God doggone it. Okay. So let me pull one person down and then we'll bring you right back up. Okay. Gotcha. Um, let's go ahead and get this discussion started so we can do what we need to do to get this thing popping. Now I know sometimes our services are a little shaky and stuff like that. So I'll have you mute yourself um until it's time to speak, just so when people are speaking, it's not a lot of static and things like that. So I know that we had some questions that we lined up for everyone. Let me read this for you. Religion, the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, a particular system of faith and worship, a pursuit or interest into what someone ascribes supreme importance. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Have the conversation. I look like we lost Charming. So gratitude,
Hmm.
greetings to our panelists and our guests. And we have Ashley Russell, LaShanta, and of course Miss Ty, and then we'll bring some other ones up. We lost Charming for just a moment. So who wants to get started? Let's talk about it. You all prepared questions.
We did. So I don't even know what religion Ashley or Miss Lashanta are. Like, were you guys? I don't know. Christian, atheist. What are you?
I grew up Christian and Baptist, and so
Okay.
that was mine. Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in the Christian world too, so I know that world as well. I just feel like it's all control
Well,
in
let's
a
Yeah,
go
I feel
around
nutshell.
the panel then, you guys. Let's
Yeah.
see, because I grew up I guess in different faiths. It was never just one isolated one from Christianity, Baptist. I searched in many of them.
I grew up Christian Baptist, pretty much. That's about all I know. And then
Okay.
I walked away from that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how many of us
Yeah,
are still there?
no. I walked away from that.
Okay, so Ty, tell us about yours.
Yeah, I grew up Christian Baptist, and then searching my own knowledge, I went to non-denominational, and then spirit.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Miss Maya.
Well, I grew up holiness,
Okay.
like whatever I think the genome culture is Pentecostal. Although I'm sure some Melanites grew up in Pentecostal too, but it would be the closest representation of what holiness is Pentecost. It's just like 100 times worse. And what's crazy is that Baptist, um, AME, CME, all of those, the other ones were condemned. So
Okay.
holiness was like the only thing I knew.
Right. Holiness or nothing.
Right,
Got you.
right.
Got you. Charming T. What about you?
So, I grew up Christian, but it was mostly from my grandmother. My parents weren't really religious. I would like hang out a lot with my grandma, my cousins, and my aunts in church. Um, I don't really. I think it's like Episcopal or something. I'm not really sure of the denomination. Um, yeah, I left that pretty quick. I was never like too deep into it. At one point, I thought I wasn't deep enough. Like at one point, I was like, should I know more Bible scriptures? Like everybody knows all these scriptures, and I literally know none of them. So I definitely was out of that real quick
Right.
because of the differentiation between being with my grandparents and my parents who weren't really too religious. So
Okay. Okay. And Miss Ashley, you said was it Christianity or
yeah, I was Christian and did it through my parents. and went to
Okay.
church every Sunday, Bible study on Wednesdays,
Mm,
couldn't watch certain shows, couldn't listen to rap music. It was very strict.
got you.
Yeah,
Got you. Got
yeah,
you. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. I mean, gratitude. Miss Lashanta, what about yourself?
I grew up Christian. I grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Okay. 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 Gratitude. And Miss Malika?
My grandparents were very religious, but my parents, although my father, I mean, you could give him numbers from the Bible and he could read from his mind to you what is on that page. But they
Mm,
weren't in the church really at all, other than when they had to be in regards to relatives. My dad, not at all. But whatever school I went to is the religion I was. I've
got
been
you.
Catholic, I've been Episcopalian, I've been Baptist. I mean, whatever the private school was, I was going to get baptized for that religion. And we were just going to work with it. And more than likely, they wouldn't even care if I knew the word as long as I could sing it. And they always put me in the front of
Right.
their choir. So that's that.
I know how that goes for sure. Okay. Cool. 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 Um, Governess, where did you want to take this? Go ahead. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. You're on mute. Okay.
There it is. We have Mr. Christopher and Miss Sylvia up as well. So I would like to introduce them as well. I'm going to see if Chaz will just work the chat for a minute because I know her Wi-Fi keep kicking her out. And
Okay.
so if she could just work the chat for us for a little while, the committee, and see what they're talking about. Greetings to Mr. Christopher.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Greetings.
Hey.
Greetings. And
Tell us
so,
about your religion.
I don't really have one. I just can't get into it. No kind of way. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Growing up in New York, I was raised up around Jewish folks and Catholic people and Muslims and everything, and just the different sides of their stories of their religion. Just none of it never clicked as being as one. But they all believe in God. They all got Jesus in it, and I just didn't understand, their interpretations of what they really believed in, as far as like all religions as a whole,
Okay.
right.
Understood. All right. So we had some questions that were prepared. So I want to go straight to them. Now, Charming, let's go to you first. Because I know you had a question. I took your question down. I think one of your questions was, what's the driving factors? Come on, let's go, Charming.
Okay, so I kind of forgot exactly how I worded it, but basically, I guess for anyone who stayed in religion for a certain amount of time, what was like the driving factor behind you staying? Like, are you aware of that factor or of that influence that may have made you stay, or did you become aware later, or stuff like that?
I mean, for me, and this just, I'm speaking on me. Growing up, our parents only knew what their parents taught them. So I really wasn't aware of spirit until I started seeking on my own. Because growing up, that type of stuff was like witchcraft, so they said. You know what I'm saying? So there wasn't really nothing that you were researching or anything like that because I was young. So once I got old enough to understand on my own and starting to see things for what it really is and digest everything on my own, then I really pretty much got it.
Okay, I have a follow-up question to anybody else who answers as well. So what age were you around that time where it started to click a little bit more, where you started to be like, this is not, like, basically where the trust started to break?
For me, I can say I was around the age of, it was my teenage years, 14, 15. I was getting ready to get baptized, and I knew I never really heard anyone tell me to get baptized, but I did it because I felt it would make my family happy. So I lied. I lied and said that he told me to go up there. He told me to, but I really did it out of building the courage because I got tired of hearing on the drives home, when is he gonna call you? He ain't never gonna call you. You were the oldest. And that started instilling in my head, well, I am the oldest. I guess I do have to walk up to that altar and grin and bear it. It doesn't make me happy. And at that time, I also knew my sexuality played a huge part in who I
That's my
was.
question. Mm-hmm.
And that was something that really, really took me out to where I already was battling in my head. I'm living a lie. I'm already living in sin, but I'm getting ready to go dip myself in this water and repent. But I'm gonna do it so I can stop hearing that on the end. So it was in my teenage years where I broke free and just said, I'm gonna do it. I don't believe it, but just to see you and hear you no more with any of this banter, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna do it and say that it all feels normal. I am clean again, and I was still impure. If that's how you want to
Well,
pure
what
it.
made you impure though?
Yeah, for real.
I was impure to the church
Mhm.
for being myself, for being gay, being LGBTQI, and it made me see so
But
many
there's an
other
eye on
people
it now.
intersex, intersex. Yes,
Shit,
Christina, it's like
I cannot keep up.
I know they keep adding stuff in there, but
I
it's
was
for
thinking
intersex.
Yeah, it's too
That's what it
much.
means.
It's too
It is a
much.
lot. It is a lot. But you definitely have to think of that aspect of when you go up there, you see people in the church, not only like you, there's people who come for comfort. They come because they have went through abuse, sexual assault, which leads into my question. Do you guys feel that, you know, do you understand everyone who is gay or comes to the church for sexual assault or little things that are premarital sex and whatnot? Does
Okay.
that help you enter and guide you? Are you guided there through your beliefs, or are you just going with what is written in the past, like what the pastor has written for you is in the passage? Is that what is going on there? Do
Okay.
you believe that?
Wait a minute. Because
Okay,
I
I'm
would
sorry.
like for Ashley and Maya J to answer that question. Because I feel like I would like to hear from both of them.
I'm sorry, what was the question again? Because I was
That's why I was trying to
kind of,
stop him because it was
Oh,
long.
yeah,
I
it
knew
was
it
a
was
lot.
okay.
long.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. Basically, I was saying, um, when it comes to people who are gay or went through sexual abuse and premarital sex and things like that, where you come to find yourself and everything in that nature, are you guided there to feel that judgment towards someone, or do you learn that through the scripture and you're
I
following
learned
it?
it. I'm sorry to cut you off. I learned it through the scripture because I was raped at 19. And for me, it was just like my sexuality, I can't say that my dad, I can only speak on my dad because my mom died when I was 14. But my dad he never disowned me, as you would say. He always accepted me. He thought would grow out of it, but it was always like pray about it and this and the third. But I always felt judged. I never felt like I could be me. I always felt like, oh well, maybe I am not gay. Let me be with a guy. But it's like, because this is the right thing to do. But for me, it's like I'm not attracted to guys. Like I'm just supposed to do this because this is what the God says, and this is what the scripture says, and I'm going to go to hell if I'm not with this guy. Is this what my life is about? Like for me to just be with a man, to be accepted in the church, or to be accepted by God, so I don't go to hell. Like that's how it was for me. So I don't know. It was just tough because it's just like I always felt from the religion judged because I never felt like I fit in. But I always did it because, you know, that's what my parents did. So it was like you just kind of do what you're told to do as a kid. And then when I got about 2021, it's I kind of ventured out and because of other things that happened in the church, but and that was just distasteful to me. But I kind of ventured out. I was like, this can't be life. This can't be all what life is about, is and to be accepted to, and this can't be the only way to get into heaven, or is there really heaven? Like it was just questions. And I never felt like I can ask because it's like, don't question God. But at the end of the day, it's like it don't make sense.
Hmm.
So that's how it was for me. I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
So for me, I feel like I was conditioned. Imagine being like 15 or 16 and can't read the King James version a good goddamn, okay? So everything was like a different language, but I also hung around older people, like older than me. That's what I was raised, grew up around. Most of my friends were like way older than me. So whatever they would say, and you know the way that they would respond to different things, that's how I would view life. Now I also had to keep in mind that everything was going to send you to hell, okay? But like if I'm 16 and I'm sitting in church and somebody comes in with like a parent or a grandparent or something and she's pregnant, instead of me going, oh, my heart goes out to her, oh, what happened to her, I'm tossing my hair talking about, oh, she's never going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Like, you know what I'm saying? At 15, not because I knew factually, you know, in the Bible, not because I had a personal experience with, you know, God himself coming down and sitting and talking to me in my room and we just having a one-on-one conversation like I'm having with all y'all. It was just learned behaviors. This is how they acted. They'd always acted that way from me being just a little girl on up. So that's pretty much how I adapted.
Wow.
I have a
Interesting.
question now. I'm gonna pose my question. So I wrote down quite a few, and I know you all had some too. Someone had put in our group chat, and I think this may have been Jose, one of your questions. I think it says, "Did you choose it, or was it?" Oh, that's Chaz. Did you choose the religion, or was it chosen for you? And if I could have Mr. Christopher and Miss LaShanta answer that.
Well, it was chosen for me. My dad grew up Jehovah's Witness, and my mom, she grew up in the church, but when she was about 9 or 10, I think she had like aunts that was going to what they call the Kingdom Hall. So they carried it into adulthood, and it was given to me. I definitely didn't choose it.
What about you, Mr. Christopher?
You know, considering the history of our folks, it was pretty much forced on our ancestors. So really, it was almost like no choice for it to be put on us because of what happened in the past. But as far as like trying to feel it, I could never really feel religion. It wouldn't do nothing for me. I pretty much believe it, in myself, because I knew what I needed to do as far as like, trying to take care of life as a whole. I I just never could get in to let
Okay.
it take my soul. I couldn't let it do it.
Interesting, right? Tell me why you say that.
Because your soul pretty much belongs to you, and you rule your own soul. If you break it down the way you should break it down, in a way that you deal with life as a whole, you know what's right and what's wrong. You don't need to think that, well, somebody's telling me the devil on one side or whatever, or the guy, angel wants to do this, do that. But you got to make the right decisions, and naturally, I feel like you should be able, to do it.
I like that. Um, Carbon, did you have questions that you put down?
I had a question, but I don't think it's for the panel. It's more of a like for spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know, like, when was like the first successful religion implemented?
Yeah, I don't think
You
it
know what
has
I'm saying?
been.
Like, hmm?
I don't think it has
I,
been. Charmy wants to answer some of that. I don't
I
think it
have a
has been.
comment about that. So, remember, I said in our group chat that I looked up religion, the etymology of religion. So, we're going to talk about that. And so, in first Latin translation is religare, and it means to bind. And then the next one is religio, and it's obligation, bond, and reverence. And then religion is life under monastic vows. I think I said that right. So the question is I don't know if religion is actually a successful thing because its original purpose was to bind you to something outside of yourself, essentially.
I
So,
guess when I say successful, I mean I guess
mhm,
because it's impacted the world so much. You feel what I'm saying?
mhm,
And that aspect, since so many people are caught up in whatever religion it may be. You know what I'm saying? That's
mhm,
why I use that terminology. But I feel what you're saying.
right.
Can I
That's a good
say something
question.
to what Charming
Yes.
said? So it's interesting hearing that breakdown because I've never taken the time to break down the word before. Um, when you think about that, in my mind, the most successful religion is media. The way that you're binded and obligated to it, and the way that it's worshipped as a god. And even the show American Gods, they have, I believe
There we
one of them
go.
is tech. But when you think about, of course they wouldn't be brave enough to put media as one of the gods on the show, because they utilize media in order to share the movie with us or the TV show with us. But I think that there
Yep.
are very successful avenues of religion, even more than spirituality, our spirituality being used as a weapon against us. When it comes to these things like clothes, especially in our community, name brands, vehicles, music, movies, so many different things that are outside of ourselves, even down to different types of hair, and not wanting to do it just because it makes you feel good, but wanting to do it because it belongs to another group of people that deep down inside your self-hate what makes you strive to want to be that, whether you refute it or not. I do think there are very, very successful forms of religion even outside of the church. But I just wanted to say gratitude, Carbon, and Charming and Governess, for bringing that up, because I never heard that breakdown.
Um, Also, if you think about the word rely, it is the same root as religion. But my love, there is a media god on American Gods. She is played by Gillian Anderson, and then there's a tech boy. So there's two.
What
And in the
season is she
show,
on?
she's in the first season. I've only seen the first season. Yeah, and in the season, in the end, I believe she is the one who is creating the war between the old gods and the new gods, and
Okay,
essentially they wipe
okay.
everything out. So yes, Malika is 100% correct. Media is definitely a religion, and it is definitely one of the most unknown, but still most worshipped.
So is sex also a religion? Can sex be your God? Is there a God?
Yes.
I believe some people do use sex as a religion.
Sex can
Absolutely.
definitely, yes, because you have people that live their life by that, whether it's trauma or whether it's through pleasure. Some have their own businesses, they revere it, they do sacred retreats based on sexuality and tantric sex and sex
Hedonism.
magic. I mean, hey, then
Um,
you have individuals who go through the trauma of it, and they've had sexual encounters when they were younger, and they worship that trauma so much that they now use it as as an excuse, but as a crutch for why they make the sexual decisions that they do now, even when it comes to street walking or things of that nature. You'll hear a lot of them say, well, it already happened to me, so I might as well make money off of it, or this or that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I don't think there is a God. I think there are multiple gods. And I
well,
think that, go ahead, sorry.
no, I was gonna say that takes me into that just sounds like the seven deadly sins, and how we, revere them unknowingly because like she said, some people do it on purpose. Some people don't even realize that they're reenacting their experience, subconsciously through that. And it's almost as if like it's not, a god or an energy, to some level it has some power.
I didn't even realize until watching The Sandman that Dream is a god. Like the way
Mm.
that we worship our dreams. I never thought of dreams. I was telling Maya this. I never thought of dreams as a being, but the way that, like, that is one of my gods. I
Yes.
love dreaming. I go to sleep saying, please, spirit, ancestors, guide me, walk me into this dream and let me remember it. It makes me feel good.
Mm.
It makes me feel enlightened. But then Dream in the show, his siblings are Desire. I can't remember. Death is one of his sisters also. There's other ones, and I've never thought of it as those things, those feelings, those moments, experiences being gods as well. Yeah, pretty dope.
So I had a friend that was Jehovah's Witness, and we have to go to the Kingdom Hall. So, Miss LaShanta, tell us some aspects of the religion of Jehovah's Witness that you understood. Like, give me 3 main pointers that you understood about Jehovah's Witness.
Um, First, not celebrating holidays, because they said that it was the worship of pagan gods, and it wasn't Jesus' birthday. Um, the morals that they taught, about fornication and things of that nature, and why we shouldn't do it. And also, the things like forgiveness, having an open heart, always being welcoming people and being kind to them.
Okay. So now, I'm glad you said that, because my friend who I grew up with, like, she was not allowed to watch certain cartoons, even Aladdin, because they believed that the demons would come through the TVs, and you weren't allowed to like mourn people's passing because you were supposed to have belief that you would see them later again in life when you cross over. Are these religious beliefs, or are they principles of life?
Good question.
They're, in my opinion, well, the way that they taught it in that organization, it was religious. But now that I'm spiritual now, I think that it's more so a spiritual thing. Um, I still believe in it. It may not be what they referred it to as the new order and the resurrection and things of that nature, but I still, have some sort of belief in that.
Okay. I'm going to put you down for a minute because I'm gonna bring Asha up because I want to hear what she also has to say, please. Um, Asha, greetings. How are you? Can you hear us?
Greetings and gratitude. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
So,
Greetings and
yes.
gratitude to everyone.
So you've been hearing some of the conversation backstage.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your thought on, is there a God, and are the religious views of religion, or are they principles of life?
Me personally, I believe there are principles of life depending on what religion you are. Let me explain. Because me, I grew up, my mom, my dad, neither one of them went to church. I was introduced to the Coptic faith, Coptic. And in that faith, it's like we walk by faith, not by sight. And I wanted to just, if I can, for a few minutes to bring in a couple of, we believe that Juicy J was a black man, and we read from the Bible, but we, as you grow governance in the spirit, you elevate. And as you elevate, we wear crowns, and we are queens and empresses. And there's a level, a spiritual degree that we climb. Now, everything that I was taught as being Coptic in the temples as a student, because I still say I'm a student every day of my life. So I'm a learner. I like to learn because I'm not the type of person, you can't just tell me anything and me not question it. I guess I'm a critical thinker. I don't mind following, but I know when first time I became Coptic, I knew that the spirit was real. And I know that first time when they lay hands and they use oil and they lay hands on you. And I must admit this, that after that first time I got hands laid on me, I got a little defensive and I was ready to fight. Because if this man touched me again, because I was a student, I didn't have understanding. But when you're a student, certain organizations or certain churches you go to, you don't question, you just go along with the teachings. And that somewhat sat with me the wrong way, because I didn't feel it was fair as a student. If you're in any classroom, I was taught that if you didn't understand, you should ask questions to gain understanding. But then when I became religious, They telling me don't ask no questions. Don't question. Wait, now which one is it now? How am I supposed to learn if I don't ask no questions? But you're not finna just lead me anywhere either, especially me being a student. I don't know. So that's where the faith came in at. And the more I follow you, governors, the more the spiritual side of being Coptic resonated with me. And I'm trying to separate myself from the political part of the religion. You understand what I'm saying? Because to use that word is binding to me it's binding, because religion is one thing and being spiritual is another. Mm-hmm. So it's like when we start our prayers, we always start off with say, I am that I am. And I don't know who all have ever, a lot of things it's all for us Black people. And I can relate that with you. Like you're all for us as Black people, and you speaking on I am that I am. Yes, that's one of our things. We say that, and we have a Black man that's, if I can say it real quick, it's like a almost like a pledge of allegiance, but it takes certain scriptures out of certain books in the Bible, and it said, out of Egypt and Ethiopia have I called my son. I am Black but beautiful. Our skins was black. My skin is black. They are black. For I am like a bottle in smoke. His hair was like wool. Their faces are blacker than coal. The faces of all gather blackness. Look not upon me because I am black, because all faces shall gather blackness. And then we go on to say that there's
I got a question on that.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Now, with saying all of that, does it need to have a title, or can it just be?
That's where I'm learning to discern for myself, because it's once you go to the spiritual side, you, like Mr. Chris said, like innately, like right from wrong for the most part. So do you really need to believe on this level when you know within yourself, like you said, I am that I am, so you don't, I can't, again, I'm still a student.
Go ahead and respond to it, Mr. Christopher.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying, because a lot of times when you listen to other folks, it seems like they try to put some kind of control over you, And when you hear certain things that don't sound right to you, it can't be right if you don't feel that it is. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Okay. So now, Miss Sylvia, you reached out to us for Christopher. You wanted him to come on and speak. Tell me why.
First, he sees me watching you all the time.
And hearing you, really.
And hearing you and hearing your opinions and your lavish words and things. Yeah. But I wanted him to come on to learn what I'm learning, as far as the deities and orishas. I wanted him to broaden his mind a little bit more and not just stay where he is right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm going to say a couple things here, because I have some good ass questions. One, I feel like the principle of life, and I feel like they've taken the principles of what should a person should or maybe could follow as a blueprint to live a good life, in a obedient life to self. You don't have to be obedient to anything outside of yourself except for self. So I was a heavy churchgoer. I would never call myself a Christian. I was a churchgoer, and I was heavily believing, here's that word, heavily believing inside of Jesus. Okay. But I never wanted to be disrespectful to it, but that didn't register with me for some reason. And I would go to church and I would sit and I would be looking at the bishop before I'd be listening to anything. Because sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like I might hear it, but my spirit was not resonating with me. So I would sit and I would take it and I'd be like, ooh, that was a good service. Ooh, why we don't never go through the whole Bible though? Why is it only this, and that? So when I began to ask questions, nobody could answer my questions. I wanted to know who the hell Cain's wife was. I wanted to know, you know what I'm saying? Certain questions like, They couldn't answer. Why do I know stuff? How am I psychic? Like they couldn't answer me that. Even when I said I wasn't going to call myself that, I started watching Juanita Bynum. I said, oh, I must be a prophetess. So when I went to them and asked them that, they couldn't answer me that either. They pushed me off the stage and said, go talk to somebody else. And so I had looked and searched through different religions from Hebrew to Christianity. And then someone said, well, I'm going to bring you to my church, which is non-denominational. When I got there, it was Christian. I said, shit, don't that mean there ain't no denomination to it? But what's the Christian? Well, it's Christian. It's Christ. Everything is Christ-based, period. And I said, oh, this is a fallacy. So then I started searching myself. And I started looking at the Bible and I'm registering some things. And, of course, I'm in it. So I fall on my face. I'll be speaking at the, that's what I was faithful to it. And then I started hearing certain things. And I'm like, shit, this ain't adding up. Because the one question that Spirit posed to me that I didn't realize that was being posed to me, it said, what if your devil was really God? So what if what they've taught you is not correct? What if that devil that they keep talking about is you or your God? And I said, shit, I must be a demon. Because why the fuck would I ever think that? What is going on? And then I had a dream when someone said, he pronounces it Shaway. So then I began to do research in Hebrew. And I came across 3 letters. Okay. W-Y-H, Shaway. Okay. And so then from that, it led me to Yehuda. And Yehuda has led me here. And now I understand whatever it is that I feel like I understand, that we are not only just the deities, we are nature, we are everything. I am the I am. There is nothing outside of ourselves. You know what I mean? You are polarity, absolutely, the yin and the yang. You are all things encompassed in one, and that this is your universe, and you are the only one that has control over it. So that's where I come in with my form of spirituality. And I understand that Yehuda is spirit, Adina is the soul, because nobody could ever answer that. Well, why is it 2 separate things? Is they not the same? Like, well, where does it come from? I had questions. I wanted to know whose God's parents was. Who is God's parents? One question leads to another. So now let's get into it. Anybody had any religious beatings?
You said religious beatings?
Mm-hmm. You get your ass whooped.
Yes.
I was fortunate not to have to go through anything like that.
Well, I never experienced any of my own, but I was taught that the spirit can whip your ass, especially if you're like I was taught that if you're like you have the Holy Ghost, and you not walking righteous in your truth or your spiritual walk, the spirit can whip your ass. In other words, like a parent that's chastising a child that's supposed to be on the right path, the spirit, again too, it kind of places a little fear in you to make you do right, because you're taught that the spirit is everywhere, and if you're out doing right and you have your mind is wrong and your heart is Papa, your heart space is out here, on a negative, you speak and stabbing people in their back, anything negative against people, is our spirit gonna whoop you. You do something wrong to this person, like they always used to quote a scripture in regards to touch not my anointed. You do better putting a rock around your neck and drown yourself if you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So certain scriptures are, I guess, used in certain ways depending on who is saying it. And it can, and again too, now that once you're spiritual, you think like all you doing is manifesting over yourself, because really, like you said, I am that I am. There's really no power over self, but then how you thinking that there's something outside of self that'll whoop you if you're not right. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't do right. So yeah, I was taught that.
I was taught that as well, Asha, especially when it came from the saying, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It was mostly my family. That was my weapon. And they would always beat me down. And that's where the emotional abuse would come in, and the mental abuse, because you're not paying attention to what God's trying to show you. You'd have to write it down and literally have a notebook to write the scripture with the pastor saying, everything he's saying does not correlate to what's really being taught. He's actually hypocritical. He's talking about
And
somebody in
you
the audience that called him and told them his personal business. I could understand that, but you had to sit there and dumb yourself down. And I didn't have to, but I was taught to. And that was not my religion. I was born into that. And I had to learn there were two sides of you. You play into it and you know what's right from wrong. I had to play into it. It was like being a character. This is who you really are. You know who you really are. But just so you could just subside some of this, you do this. You have to write this out, act this way, be this way, follow in this way. But you don't believe in anything in that discourse. You don't believe in anything along that pattern. It really makes you think there's a lot of other people that have been through that kind of thing, especially when they instill forgiveness in you in the Bible. And that's the
hmm
main thing that tears a lot of people down because you forgive your family members, but they can abuse, molest, and hurt you. And then it's programmed to where it's okay, it's a sin, it's okay. At the end of the day, I'm repenting for this because it's already told to you that it's a sin kind of thing. And it
hmm
really makes you sit
hmm
back and think, how am I supposed to move forward? Because I'm trying to heal and you just keep bringing me back down, destroying me layer by
This
layer
is
every time I spiritually see who
this
I am and what I am. I'm sorry, you guys.
no, this is what they were saying in regards to how people try to put you in a place where you can't judge and just to take abuse. Just to, what they say, religion make you meek, make you weak, because it makes you give in to negative things and have you what they say turn the cheek, stuff like that. Like no, you're not gonna slap me and then tell me to turn my cheek. So no, my mom told me you slap me, I slap you back. Like I just there's certain things like that just never settled with me. It never was right. So I felt like, well, I'm gonna be a sinner on that note because I'd be damn somebody slapped me. I was always ready to be. That's what I mean. Like you just can't tell me no any other thing and it don't sit right with me. Like okay, time will tell. We gonna see. We gonna see. That was just how I was. Like but at the same time, I'm looking and I'm searching for something within myself that was already there the whole time. I just didn't know it. Like the governors were saying, like when you saying certain things, you just tell you to study to show yourself approved. So again, too, my grandmother just made 94 years old here in July, back here in July, and she still study the Bible, whatever. But even herself at 94 still have questions about the Bible. So and we was talking one day, and we was saying it was crazy how we both came to the agreement that we can read the same. All of us in this chat room, and I'm on this panel, can read the same scripture and get all different meanings out of the same scripture. You know what I'm saying? So I could never, and I think that part is where they always tell us don't ask no questions. Because if I read the same scripture that you read, and I get a different discernment or a different message out of it, but you don't want me to question it,
Yeah, no, I
that was
understand.
just how I did.
Got you, for sure.
I
I have
think
a
I would like to
question.
answer that question from a different perspective,
Please,
Carbon
please.
Martian. After you, but go ahead. Go ahead.
No, please go for it.
Okay. So with regards to the beating, I never received like a physical beating. Because I stopped getting those around like 8 or 9. But I feel like there was this one scripture that they used to use like forever and a day, and it was a little leaven it the whole lump. And so I took it to mean like you have this yeasty piece, like this unleavened bread that's stale and untasteful, like disgusting, and the more you add to it, it just becomes more disgusting and it becomes more distasteful, and it grows bigger and bigger. And so I feel like for me, I was being beaten mentally. So every time I did something that wasn't deemed godly or kingdom like, and then with having hell thrown at every curve, like every single thing I did was put into question. I'm going to sleep with anxiety because I don't know if I'm going to wake up the next morning. I'm going to wake up and lift up my eyes in hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting rebuked for asking normal questions. Hell, if I decide to shout or I feel the spirit, oh, that's just the Lord whooping your ass. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like everything to me was a whooping. So when something happened that maybe didn't go my way or the expectation that I had that it would go, it was, oh, well, you know, you must be doing something wrong. You need to clean up whatever you're doing in secret because God is going to always bring it to the light. So I always constantly felt like I was getting beat in the spirit. You got to walk a fine line. You got to walk a straight and narrow. And then they hit me with the, well, you know, hell enlarges itself every day. It gets bigger and bigger every day. It's making room for all of the people that are going to go versus, well, you know, heaven was only made to fit a certain amount of people. After that amount of people is filled, it's not going to take any more room. So basically, everybody else is going to go to hell, which is why holiness is the only way. Holiness is the only right way. Christians ain't going to make it. Seventh-day Adventists aren't going to make it. Jews aren't going to make it. Hebrews aren't going to make it. Like Baptists are not going to make it. It's only enough room for us. So you better get it together. So just the whole shit show growing up. But yeah, that's my interpretation.
Sounds like
so
it.
hell doesn't. So hell has the ability to grow, but heaven does not.
Right. Right.
And heaven is supposed to
Exactly.
be the mightiest place, and but it doesn't even have enough room for its people to change when everyone asks for forgiveness upon passing.
Yeah,
Wait.
I got something to say about that.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Christopher.
According to some folks that I talk to, the only ones that's going to make it in heaven is the ones that believe in Jesus Christ. That's what they run by me, and I tell them that's totally wrong because that ain't. It don't seem like it's right if there is a heaven or whatever to condemn some folks that don't know nothing about Jesus or God. Because from what I've been reading lately, when the colonizers came over to the States and got with the Indians to try to convert them into Christianity, in the Indian language there was no word for them that meant sin or anything. They just didn't have it in their vocabulary. So it's just strange to hear somebody just say that you can't get in heaven unless you believe in Jesus Christ. And Jews don't believe it. They believe in Jesus, but they don't think that's the way to heaven. But they tell me the Jews are the chosen ones. It's just confusing to me the way they bring that up.
Okay, so I keep saying this, and I'm so glad Malika said that because people will tell you the devil is busy. Oh, that's the devil. That's the devil. That's the devil. But you say you believe in God. You say you believe in angels, but they give so much power to this thing that they call the devil, Satan, Lucifer. They give so much to his followers. Oh, the devil blesses his own. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Oh, he got that kind of power. I didn't know. Like, it's always the devil gets this kind of credit, but they are so quick to dismiss anything outside of that to be, a legitimate thing. I'm just so confused on some shit. Maya?
Well, it's all confusing. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, just from the Bible studies you do with us, it's like, what? Huh? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I believe that's by design as well.
I want Ty to talk about her experience with religion and switching over because she called me one day and was like, Fred, I love you, friend, because you just let me be me, and you loved me even when I was still believing in Juicy J. And so she was like, and you just didn't, and then you let me find my own way, friend. So I want you to kind of talk about your experience and transformation.
Well, my experience is a long one. I'm kind of old. But I don't even know where to start from. I like it where I'm at. I can say that.
Okay.
I've seen more results in my life within the 3-year span because I think it's been about that. about 3 years, than I've seen in over 30 years with Jesus, and paying my tithes and offering and baking cakes and cookies and singing in the choir and being on the usher board and stuff like that. And nobody gave me nothing. I was waiting on Jesus for a long time, and he ain't come for me.
You said to me, you said you was waiting on Jesus, and while you was waiting, you got evicted, and you feel like he owe you some money.
You know he do. You've been my friend a long time.
Maya, you said the same thing though. You said that you paid a lot of tithes and a lot of shit.
So tax time, I'm gonna try to put Jesus. What's his middle name? His social. I'm putting him on my.
Well, they say H. Jesus H. Christ.
H. Jesus. He was a Mexican.
I don't know, but I'm just saying. Malika grew up without that, right? So when we've been having our discussions, she's like, well, really? Can we just go to a church just so I can see what it is? So coming from not really having that religion, except for just maybe going here and there, what is your take on religion itself, Malika?
Confusion, and just humans being the most humanist of the humans that they can be. Not only the people who are teaching it, but the ones who are receiving the lessons, when really it's just making things more difficult than they need to be. Losing yourself because it's easier to just listen and run after somebody else. And I see how when I sit back and I watch and I listen to these conversations, like even in this conversation, I feel out of place. Like I don't have any church stories. I don't have any experience in that, but I've learned so much, especially in the last few months being around Maya and Governess, and they take the time to teach me and break things down. And I told Governess at one point that I realized with my daughter that I'm lacking in that space, because the Bible could be used as a weapon against me because I don't know it well enough to use it as armor for myself in my spirituality. And so because of that, even in the homeschool that I decided to put my daughter in, it's a religious-based homeschool, but I sit with her for every class. And we're going to talk about this Juicy J character that this woman is telling you about on the TV. And that is what really lets me know that it's the humans being humans that make it so confusing, because she's a tiny human. She's the best form of us. Our children know more than we will ever know as far as what we're seeking in spirituality. And when we've sat down and had these conversations, because they have one class that's called religion on her daily schedule, and when we sit down and have the conversations, it's very natural to her. Oh, well, why would he kick them out for taking an apple off a tree? I eat Mama and Papa's mangoes off their tree all the time. If they kicked me out, I know they wouldn't love me. Well, baby, that's a good question, but I'm glad that you see that that would be the wrong thing to do. And then there's, just as Mr. Chris had brought up earlier, we had that conversation as well, where they were saying, in order to be saved, in order to go to heaven, and these I'm learning with her because I'm just hearing these conversations, like I said, but they said in order to go to heaven, you have to believe in Juicy J. And I told her, I said, now I want you to really think about that, because there are babies that never even heard that name. And there are babies in other countries who will never be taught that. And some babies pass away at a young age before they can even absorb anything. So when they pass away, then are they all going to go to this place that's being described to you as this eternal damnation? And she was like, that doesn't even make sense. Why would they say that? Okay, exactly. And we break down every story, but she just naturally knows. And I'll just sum it up like this. I go with what my daughter said. And she said, at the end of the day, no, I don't care what any of these people are saying. I just choose love. And that's it. I choose what feels right, and I choose love. And she's 7. You know what I'm saying? So I think because we're so conditioned, everything is made to be more difficult. I can read your energy. I just don't rock with you. I might still be able to rock with your teachings, though. I love your energy. I might not listen to one instruction that you give me because I already see how you dealing on your own path. When it comes to religion, from the outside looking in, it's chaos. It's chaos and confusion. And it's human created. It's human caused. I don't know what
it's
that word
would be. It's the telephone. Do you remember the game when you were little? Like you pass
Yes.
it along and pass it along and pass it. By the time it get back around, it's confusion.
Yes.
Nobody knows what the hell is happening.
But that goes
You
back.
know what?
That goes back to what I was saying, though. Even the teachers and humans now, a lot of people are not woke. So, humanly, they are robots. They're doing what they were taught, and not what's really for us. Because
Right.
before us, they dumbed it down and told us that wasn't for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they took
They said it was
what
the
was
devil.
ours and made it theirs, and just put different names and a different spin on it. But at the end of the day, we don't have a book. Spirit don't have a book because we move by spirit. Who wrote your book, Damon?
I've said this before,
Where'd she
and I'll say
go?
it again. Most people that are
She
in
left.
Christianity are in Christianity because simply they're scared of going to hell. 9 times out of 10. But we've learned we're already there. Boom. Okay.
Boom.
Who wrote your book?
So this is my question. I'm gonna pose it to Ashley, and then I'm gonna have Ashley come down. We'll bring up Shay Go. Ashley, because you brought up like sexuality inside of religion. At what point did you decide to say fuck it? Are you
I
still
would
going
say,
to hell, Ashley?
am I still who?
Are you still going to hell?
I don't believe so after, but I didn't I don't really, how can I say this? I started believing that when I began to stand on my own in the words of like I wasn't, and my beliefs wasn't forced upon me when I got away from my family and I got on in the world of my own, because I wasn't surrounded by family and this is what you should do and this is what you should believe in. And, so when I got on my own, I had to figure it out. And so it's like, okay, this is not working for me. This God is not working for me. So what do? I have to find other sources that does. So you said as far as sexuality, right? I'm just nervous. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes. No, you're fine. So far as sexuality, when did you say to yourself, if I'm going to hell, then I'm going to hell because this is who I am and I just want to live my life?
I was probably like 19, 20 because it's like I couldn't imagine myself like this is what I like. So it's like I'm just gonna say screw it because I am not the type of person. I don't have the personality to be with a man because that's the right thing to do. Do you see what I'm saying? I can't live my life unhappy. Like that's not living to me.
Well,
And if this looks like happiness to me as far as my sexuality, I can't do that. I got to go on what my gut feels in my heart.
so what do you think your family would? Okay, because this is the question I always pose.
Mm-hmm.
So your family don't want you to be gay. They would prefer you to
No.
be with a man. But
Yes.
what if he was abusive? Would that be okay?
Exactly. But you got to also understand that my parents had an abusive relationship. I have a brother that has an abusive relationship with his wife. And it's like, oh, well, just stay because that's your wife, work it out. To me, it's like, what do the kids see? What are you teaching your kids? Because they have kids. It's like, what do you feel for yourself? Like, that's the right thing to do because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, to me, it's like
Oh, bless me.
I'm the only one. I'm the baby of 6. I'm the only one that moved away. So they look at me like, well, what's wrong with you? Every time I move, governors, my dad said the Lord is not going to keep blessing you because you keep moving.
Oh, they told me one time I was in a cult. I didn't even know I was in a cult. And Spirit said, get up and leave here now. And I got up and packed my stuff. And they did everything but grow horns. She told me, God is not going to ever go with you because you can't take God with you. God is here. I was like, shit, well, I'm just going to leave God behind because I'm here. Because something said go,
Yeah, absolutely. And so for me, it's just like, it's always been like, for me to find myself or find something outside of what they believe or what's been put upon me. It's like, you're wrong for that. You're not going to get blessed by that. You're going to go to hell for that. And it's like, well, just kill me then, because this is not life. Like, why am I here again? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just was brought here just to do what this person says or you said or this God says. Like, this is not living. Like, this cannot be my life. Right. So it's like, even not to go off subject, but even when I got married, nobody wanted to come down because it's like, the right shoulder, like, well, you doing it, you marrying a woman, like, but this is what makes me happy. But you guys are miserable doing the right thing, right?
Right. And oh, girl, come on, Maya J.
Okay, y'all. Oh my God, I feel like this was a traumatizing moment for me because, in lieu of what Ashley is saying, I swear, people in the church used to tell me that I would rather die knowing that I lived this walk unsure of what all was going to send me to hell than living my life just to be living my life and not have an understanding of anything else. I would live my life walking. I would rather live my life and die knowing that I walked circumspectly, which, if you don't know what it means carefully, like tightrope type carefully, than doing the work to understand you, to understand your functionalities and how your spirit works and what the truth is as opposed to what the lie is or what's not true. I would rather live and die knowing that I made it barely, because they would say the righteous would scarcely make it anyway. So that was very traumatizing for me. I was like, okay, nobody's safe. I'm certain I'm going to hell at this point. I'm going to spend my life and eternity burning with the demons and the brimstone and the fire.
Religion was
I feel like
bullied upon, like bullies. If we didn't pay our tax, if you didn't have the whole armor of God, you was getting beat. Like y'all was bullying us. Like y'all was bullying us, or puppets. Like, happy birthday, Sister Mary Clarence.
Say what you was about to say, Carmen. Then we gonna take a break.
no, I was just gonna say when it comes to the whole, sexuality and religion thing, it's like once you as an individual accept the fact that you can't pray it away, you can't fast it away, it's there. You know what I'm saying? And now you're stuck in this thing, this religion that tells you everything about you is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I can relate to everybody. With that said, y'all, we will be right back in a couple of minutes, probably about 60 seconds or so. And welcome back.
Now, after we went to commercial, I saw that Miss LaShanta had put in a question, so I brought her up, and I would like to welcome up Miss Shago. It's hard for us to see you. We had asked that you be in a lit space so we can kind of see you. But and we have a few other people that we're going to bring up as well. So I'll have some of these people click out of the queue in just a moment. And then for our other people that were supposed to come up, I'll have them come up. LaShanta, say what you had said in the private chat.
It was kind of similar to what Maya was saying. I was saying in the chat that it's just like how when they used to tell us that we had to really be almost close to perfect in order to inherit into the new order or like the new system, which caused like a lot of fear because, as humans, like, we're imperfect. Like, we're going to do things, it's natural for us to do things. So imagine living every day and, you're sinning and having that fear, oh my God, like I just cut somebody out, like I'm not going to inherit God's kingdom because I just cut somebody out, you know. So it's fear based.
Mhm. And then once you learn the trick of, well, God don't like this and God don't like that, and that's actually them telling you what they don't like about you, but they use God. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question from the person that doesn't know that much about much. Um, is there, going back to the conversation in regards to homosexuality, is there a reason why the church is so focused on that topic? Like
Yes.
before
Leviticus.
I
They
Yeah,
get
sis.
yeah,
Yes, it is.
I was
that
gonna say
and
I
lift.
come I come from a culture where cut church out. Like, I'm grateful that they give y'all a place to go. The culture I come from, they just want you dead. They don't care where you choose to go afterwards. Like, it's in our music. People have been banned from the States because Batiboy for dead. We just even recently had a major musician, a huge reggae artist who's my favorite, and she went into hiding because a tape was released of her having an intimate moment with her lady. And it wasn't that there was a tape release that was the issue. It was this issue of her being possibly with a woman. And she went into hiding, like fear. They're coming after me. They're going to kill me. And this was what, last year? So, but I know from research, they've said that it has to do with buck breaking in the history of the country that my family comes from. Sorry. And if you don't know what buck breaking is, it was a form of that the slave masters used to do, where they used to put the slaves together and have them rape each other in order to calm them. Anyway, is there something like that that traces back that says this is why they focus so much on it? And that's the question for everybody, whoever wants to answer.
Yes, ma'am, there is. I can give you two examples personally. There is a scripture in the Bible that says that man is not supposed to lay with mankind. That um, that men turned away from women because their lust burned in their hearts for each other, and that it caused them to become effeminate. And there's also a city in the Bible called Sodom and Gomorrah, which they're saying that the entire city was overran with gay people, and that God Himself came down and destroyed the entire city because everybody was gay.
He smite
Okay,
them.
so see,
He smite.
this is what I'm saying. Y'all know I don't know verses. I learned from doing Bible study with governess, right? This is how I couldn't even get past in our image when I try to read it on my own. It just didn't make sense to me. I've learned the most during our Bible studies. But I know every single thing that you just said. I've heard those things. So why is it, out of all the things in the Bible, all of the sins that are listed in the Bible, all of the things that, why are those the most popularized? Why are those the most focused? I don't know if I'm presenting this question correctly. Why is there so much talk around people's sexual choices when it comes? Is it possibly that maybe they were trying to sway the Catholic pastors from, not touching their altar boys anymore? Is it like, does it track back to something specific? Or is it they just really love the topic of homosexuality? Because that's what I
I
hear
feel
most in church arguments than anything else.
I was
I want to say
a part
something.
of me feels like it's like a little bit of reverse psychology in a way, because you know how they do that weird stuff to program you, but it's a reverse psychology to program people this is bad, and they think they're programming you that it's bad, to where it inflicts a population to become homosexual. And it comes into that term. I forget how the psychosis is, but it's a scientific thing. And also, I don't understand it because in the Bible itself, Juicy J was in bed with a child, so, and which was a boy. So I'm not understanding with that scripture and knowing what I know, it makes no sense how it can be so defamed, but it's okay for your leader to be laying in bed, pedophilia as well, with another male. It's okay if he does it,
That's
but
why they're always trying to merge pedophilia with homosexuality, and they don't go together.
Yeah, that that along with abortion, I think a lot of Christian folks feel like that's what they need to get rid of to get in good graces with God, supposedly. Trying to do God's work, just something similar to that.
Okay. Now, Shay, go. What is your thought on religion, and how were you raised inside of religion?
Well, I was raised Pentecostal holiness, but I have a family. We're like the black sheep of the family because my dad was a pastor and my mom was a missionary, but they believed their beliefs were different than the core beliefs of most religions. Like my dad always told me, "You're special. Y'all are picked out to be picked on. You're different than most. Be a leader, not a follower." And that's because I love my parents. They had 5 kids. I'm one of 5. They let us find our own way. So I have a brother who studied Hebrew. I have a sister who's a Buddhist. I have another sister who do Muslim stuff. And me, I'm just what you would consider just spiritual. And the reason it's like that is because we realized a long time ago, religion is not going to get you into supposedly heaven. But I had a brain injury from a flu shot in 1997. And during that time, I had near-death experience. So I understand now that the spirit world is real, like real. And a lot of the things that we were taught, I ended up questioning because I saw that it was totally different than what they told me.
So was there anything inside of that, Shay, that you remember?
Or what?
Is there anything inside of that spiritual experience going into the spirit world that you remember?
Yes, a lot. I remember the reason I had to have that experience was because I came into all knowledge. But he had to wipe some of it from my memory because if we actually come into full knowledge, it will actually kill us. It's so much knowledge that it would kill us. So it has to be spoon-fed to us. We can't take it all at one time. And I realized that hell and heaven is a state of mind.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not a physical place. The pit is a place, but heaven and hell is a state of mind. I was able to go to places before I could think of wanting to be there. I was able to communicate. We communicate through our eyes. It's telepathic in the spirit world. We don't open our mouths. We don't have to.
Right.
and the answers will come before you can think of the questions. It was stuff like that. Some things I know he had to erase because I didn't get to that part of my life yet. So
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out some things, you know.
Okay.
But yeah,
There's something that she keeps saying that I wanna bring to the panel before I release these people here, because we have Miss Kasiva that has to come up, and we got Miss Vivian that has to come up as well. So now Ashley is already up there too. Okay. And I'm gonna have two of y'all come down so we can bring them up. Now she keeps saying he. So where does the masculine and the feminine come from? Like, why is it putting a gender on something that is limitless?
where it's not a gender, actually. It's a spirit. Spirit is spirit. And see, a lot of people don't quite get it. But if you are religious, I will tell you, go to your Bible. It says, he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says. Not what the mouth says or what the pen and paper says.
Yes.
That's a recent activity. So everything you learn in your Bible, writing is a recent thing. So everything in there has been manipulated. And then in the beginning of the book, it tells you it has been revised over and over and over and over again. But yet, you're making it solid truth. And that's why we're so mixed up.
Yeah, it's
because on one hand, you telling us, let people smack you in the face, turn the other cheek. But then if you go back, it's saying, fight for your daughters, fight for your wife. Come on. Which one is it?
Yes.
Which one is it?
Gratitude.
So it's crazy. And I know people get on your nerves, governors. I know. But your work is not in vain.
Gratitude.
People like me need people like you to help us figure out what's going on.
Okay, gratitude.
So
I want
whatever you do, gonna stop.
It's never for me. It's never that. Okay, Charming. For me, it's never that I want you to follow me or follow what I say or follow my teachings. I want you to open up your mind enough to go do research, to ask the questions, to find your own way. And then whatever, if that works for you, then that works for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't I one standard of understanding of a collective. You know, if that's what it is, what it is.
That is so true, my friend. And like she said, I was so that I would pick her up, blast them high school like it was T-Pain. Like I was completely sold out. And she's always been who she is. On screen, off the screen, she is genuinely who she is. And whoever you are, she's going to love you where you are. So they say God do. But if you don't do what Jesus and them tell you to do, you get beat or you're going to go to hell. She's not like that. She genuinely been loving me forever, years on top of years. And like I said, I've only really been doing my spiritual walk for 3 years. And I would pick her up and she would still be in the car with me. She'd jam and everything. But I know she never was like pushing her beliefs.
And she'll pull up with gospel music on. And I'd be like, okay. Yeah.
and never pushed her beliefs on me or like, you need to go join my Bible study, and you know what I'm saying? She ain't never that. She let me genuinely find my own way. And I did on my own. And when I did, I called her. Probably was in the middle of the night or something because I just be doing stuff. But I called her and I told her because I felt like she should know. Because it was her who woke me up. Because if it wasn't for my friend, I'd still be Donnie McClurkin's.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a break again, Carbon, and 'cause I want to get my other people. I'm gonna take some of you out of the queue. Charming, if you want to do that, that's fine. And have her come up so she can also speak. We're missing Chad, so she said she'll let Chad come up for a moment. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a couple of you out the queue so I can have two of my other people come up. And
We'll be right back, y'all.
This is a company that I use. This is toothpaste. This is all melanite, Black owned. I love it. I use it every day.
We're back. All right.
What the hell? I was still telling the people, come on in. Let me see. There's Miss Cassiva. Okay. I'll take you out, ma'am. Take you out. Come up. Okay. Hey, Miss Segment, how are you?
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, governors. Greetings, panel. Greetings, cousins.
Greetings. So you're coming in. You're new to the panel right now, and now I have some other questions. Now I feel like I have to take somebody else down. Okay, maybe not. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. That's 10. Okay, yeah. So let me see. Hold on, guys. Wait a minute. Oh, she came back in. That's what happened. Hold on. I'm gonna take you out. Y'all know what? Let me tell y'all something real funny. I'm gonna take you out, Ashley, for a moment. Let me tell y'all something. It's so funny. When I seen Ashley in the chat in the queue, I was like, "Is that my ex?" I almost hit the exit 17 times. Y'all know she looked like her, right? I was like, "Oh, that's not her." Ooh, I was scared. Like, what the fuck is she doing in here? Anyway,
I first seen her, I said it to my face. I'm like,
like, what is that? Okay, never mind.
There will be no funky pussy on the panel today. Okay.
Little slither snake, not today. Say there ain't no backwash on the panel today.
I mean, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I still one more. Too many people. Okay, I'm gonna have to take one more person out so I can bring up somebody else. Miss Shay, I'm gonna take you down for a moment because I would like for one of the other guests to come in. Miss Vivian is who I'm waiting for. Mr. Christopher, I'm gonna keep you for a little while because I really want to hear what else you have to say on some things. So now, Miss Cassiva, I have some questions, y'all, because I think it's Charming T's question. She said, "What is the driving factor?" That's your question, Charming?
Yeah, basically, what is the factor behind why we choose to stay in that religion and not have? Did you hear me?
Yes.
Did you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
basically, why we chose to stay in the religion, why that we may not even have the choice to participate in, like it was given to us, and why do we stay, even though it was given to us?
Well, I would say I stayed in it for because of family pressure. That's basically what I grew up in from birth. Like that's all I knew. Um, and then as I got older, it was a kind of comfort because that's the only thing I knew as comfort. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know to look towards anything else, and it was crazy because like I would get weird feelings like, well, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I apologize for not saying that from the start. But I was raised Jehovah's Witness. And it would be times where, like, you know, family funerals or things like that, we would have to go into the church. And certain, like, songs would give me chill bumps, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there like, man, I'm not supposed to be feeling like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Something just don't feel right about this. Like, I don't know. It's a thing of comfort as well as family, like I said, family pressure for me.
That seems to be very common. That's what makes me feel like religion was kind of created to bind us from birth or from a really young age, because a lot of us didn't have the choice, and I feel like a lot of people wouldn't really choose to go back to that at an older age. So it's one of those things where they have to put it on you at the young age because they know any older it's gonna not make too much sense. You're gonna be able to work through that. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it limits your thinking. Like the way I was raised, like, you know, I was a very intelligent person, but it was a program that you can go to in high school where you could go ahead through the college and graduate like with your associate's degree. I wasn't allowed to do that because they felt like that was extra social pressure or, you know, like me being able to talk to more people out in the world per se. So I really feel like it limits your thinking. It limits your intelligence. It limits the questions, you know, that could come to your mind because all you're thinking about is, well, I just need to focus on getting right with God and this is what I need to do, you know. So it just limits your thinking. It limits everything for real.
I have a question for you, segment goddess. Do you feel like religion crippled your relationship with, you know, whoever you might be dating, or if it hindered the way that you communicate with other people? If you have children, do you feel like it molded or affected the way that you choose to raise your children?
It definitely did. Because it was a lot of things that I wasn't accustomed to, I would say, when I was able to get out here in the world and experience things. Um, and I know that if it was, I guess, you know, put in front of me, then I would have handled it a different way. Um, so I definitely do believe, because even now, like, I don't really have too many friends. Like, I have a couple people that I may talk to, but I don't have friends. I don't know. Maybe there's something within me. Like maybe I don't know how to be a social person because I wasn't that sociable, you know, growing up. Like I just been stuck in this shell. So it does. And it's like I want my kids to experience a lot of things that I didn't get a chance to experience. I want them to be able to come to me and tell me what's on their mind and not be ashamed or afraid. I didn't have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like I was stuck behind that shell. Like I can't come out and say this. They're gonna think I'm crazy or, you know, this not right. That's just not right. But I did have questions, you know. So yeah, it definitely does. It shaped me, I feel, for the better because I don't want my children going through what I went through. Like I want that openness for them to just be able to come and tell me whatever. Like I tell them all the time, come talk to me. Because I didn't have that opportunity. Feel comfortable as you want to because I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't have that. So yes, most definitely.
Well, I got a question for everyone. First, the rebel, I sent you the link because we tried to get you to come up earlier and you didn't answer the phone, but you sent in for you to come up. So I sent you the link to your phone. Now, my question is, do y'all think that they should have taken religion out of the school systems? And are you aware that they're bringing back the swatting, the paddling, the spanking in schools this year?
Hit my hit my kid and can't the fuck fight. That's all I'ma say. Cause I don't give you no permission. I barely give you permission to teach them because what you're teaching them ain't even what's supposed to be taught. But you gonna pick that paddle up if you want to, and I'm gonna Mason tase you till you can't sleep or eat no more. You're gonna have shaking baby syndrome. You hit my child. And that's on AG. Go ahead.
Yeah, I
I think she
understand.
answered it for us all.
Right, for us all, really. Like, yeah, because I mean, should nobody be putting their hands on nobody else's children like that? I'm just saying,
Because the
you
thing
know.
is,
It's
when
in,
they was
it's in Missouri, but they're gonna expand that.
when they was teaching what the when they was teaching Black history and the stuff the right way, they snatched it out of there. So now that they gonna bring it back the wrong way, they want to bring it back. Tell them we don't want that watered down stuff. We don't want that.
I it's I'm glad that she brought that up, the corporal punishment, because I think somebody in a comment, I didn't read the full comment because I was kind of skimming, but I think they mentioned something about like if they did something small, then they would be punished in like a large degree, which we've seen in movies, and I'm sure you guys have, a lot of us have experienced through religion and through God and through Jesus, we're punished, for doing, small things that can range. But what I was gonna say is I find it interesting that I feel like they use that as an excuse because they are aware that their God is violent towards them, and therefore they use it as an excuse to be violent towards their own children, and also using it as an excuse to allow it like things like corporal punishment back in schools because I feel like isn't that how it started in schools from the beginning is based on basically like religion, God, Christianity.
I don't think that they should have taken religion out of schools, honestly. I feel that they should have a course on religion, but I think that it should teach all facets of all different religions without bias, without my my husband, he took a course in college and it was the one of the most fascinating courses ever. It went through all the religions across all countries. And it wasn't like this is what we believe, this is what you must believe. It was here's this group of people. It was a humanities course. Here's this group of people and this is what they believe in. Not necessarily you have to subscribe to this. And I think that that also opens the gateways to have teachings such as the governess's teachings, what the deities bring to us within a public school format. So I don't think that they should have pulled it. I think that it should be reworked and it should be taught from that standpoint so that these babies, whatever they gravitate to, is what they can look into, whatever feels right to them, whether it's African spirituality, Buddhism, whatever it is, they can draw from that. So that's my outlook on it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of these southern Republican states will fall for that. Only thing they really want to teach is Christianity. They
Yes,
would
that's
have a
I
fit.
totally agree
Yeah, they
because
would have
what
a fit.
governess is teaching is
And it's a good dog.
she's bringing back what we our inheritance. This is who we really are, and I am just grateful that she was the chosen one, and she was
what's the word I want to say? She was willing enough to set self aside. You know, it takes a lot, and it in the Bible, quote unquote world, word, nobody know the price of her oil. It took a lot. It took a lot for her to get where she at. This is not no microwave teaching or none of that. All her shit is crock pot fixing. She cuts her onions up. She dices up her stuff. She put her foot in her every meat she bring out, her pot fall off the bone. You know, ain't nothing tough, ain't nothing left in our teeth or nothing. If it is, she's gonna digest it for you, and you're gonna be able to get that through your system for sure.
Okay.
Going to Bible study, you're gonna have to go look this up, get a dictionary,
Be
Google it,
forced.
call Dr. Seuss, call Dr. Doolittle, Bishop T.D. Jakes, his cousin, and his grandma to digest it. No, you shouldn't have to do all that. You
Hold
should be
on, Bridget. I'm gonna
teaching for
take you out,
sure.
Bridget, for a moment because I dropped it in the link in the chat because I've been watching the chat, gratitude time, and I've been watching, and I want to have a diverse conversation. Um, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all clicking this link. I ain't even told you why the link is in the chat. Now, wait a minute. I saw Raider 88, Raider. I would like for you to come up because I have the
Come
same
on,
question,
buddy.
Charmin. I want to know what it is that you believe because I want to have the diverse conversation. So, Raider, there's a link in the chat. If you would come on up and have the conversation with us, that would be great. I'll put it again just in case you don't see it. Because I see that I think you're a Jesus believer, and that's okay with us.
Mm.
But I would like to have the conversation. It's not a conversation if we all on the same, you know. So come on up, Raider. Um, I I I put the link back in the chat.
Yeah, because I have to go to work, so I'm probably going to get off of here in a little while. You
Okay.
know, but I show gratitude to everyone on here. I send love and light to everyone on here.
Gratitude time.
Um, I'm appreciative. I show gratitude to Spirit. I love Spirit. Um, yeah, I'm sold out. I never would have thought that I would be where I'm at, and I just showed so much gratitude for the governess. That's my baby. That's my heart. I love her to the. I love her. Just know that.
Gratitude.
And I love
Gratitude.
you all for loving her genuinely and having her back. Y'all got her back. I got y'all side for sure. And I just love it. I love it. I love what she's bringing. I love what she's teaching. I love. I just love it. I just wish everybody will receive what she's teaching because what she's teaching is not bad. She just wants y'all to wake up. She's trying to get y'all to go where she's going. Whether she do this or not, she's going where she's going. Period. You either get on the ship or just get shipped out. Either or. It don't make her no difference. All
That
she's
part.
saying is get it while the getting is good, because once the getting is gone, you left.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Gratitude. All right,
And
Ty.
I
Well,
love you all.
I'm too tired.
Love you, love
So
you.
long.
I love
Much
you. I
love,
love
Ty.
you. I love you
Gratitude.
genuinely. So long.
So long, Mama. Okay. So look. Okay, I got the rebel. Now, Tazaria, when did you become a Jesus believer? Because you be in the chat as if you are not. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation because people come and they say what they say, but then when it's time to stand in your truth, you don't stand in your truth. We want to know who we see and who we talking to, Rebel. Come on, show your face. Because you be in this chat, Tazaria, as if you are a Yehuda believer, and they are not the same thing.
Don't be
So where did
scared.
that come from? Where did that come from? Come on, Raider. Let's have the conversation. He
He
can't.
said that, or them, they said that they have 15 minutes left, but they'll continue in the chat. So I don't think they're going to come up.
Is it because he's SBS? Is that who that is?
Bum, bum, bum.
Why don't the Jesus people want to stand in their truth? I'm trying to understand. Come on in and stand in your truth. Greetings, Rebel. Well, come on up, Tazaria, because that's never what you project while you're in the chat. So come on up. Greetings, Rebel. How are you? Seems like she's having some issues there. Okay, there you go.
I'm good.
I think you're having some Wi-Fi issues. We can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Come on up. I put the link there. Come on up. And then I saw somebody named Nia had clicked the link. Nia M. No, I want diverse conversation. So what I want to know what you believe as well.
We're not gonna beat you up. Don't be scared, y'all.
You're ashamed of the gospel of Christ. We want you to come up and give your views. You've been given it plenty in the chat. I'm trying to give you the platform to come up and speak and say what it is that you want to say, because you've been saying plenty in the chat and we're all about it. I just want to have the platform to come up and speak and say what it is that you turn your background down. You've been saying plenty in the chat and we're all about it. I just want to have the platform to come up and speak and say turn your background down, Rebel. Kawana Flores, like it's not allowing you to join in for some reason. I see you, but you're having Wi-Fi issues. Well, we're going to talk to the people that want to come up and have the conversation. We're not gonna, So, Rebel, tell us about your religious beliefs.
Oh, well, I'm spiritual now, of course. My upbringing was pretty free flowing, but Christian based. But like when I send an email, non-denominational, because the church that I grew up in, we basically worked off of principles, more or less, like then the force fear type of things. We read from the Bible, but a lot of things were like giving you situations and circumstances, what comparing it to your everyday life, comparing the Bible and your life to everyday situations, if that makes sense. But even still within that, because it was Christian based, it was just some things didn't resonate with, my spirit. And then if I questioned it, then it's like now we have an issue. But I'm asking questions because something's not sitting right. But then the questions that I'm asking too, you all don't have any answers to. But this is where, we're coming to seek the total refuge to know, I guess, our life's path. And that's when I started going on like my own spiritual journey. But I say from around 8 years old, I kind of knew in the church house that, something wasn't gelling right with everything.
Okay, so what was your like the pivotal moment that made you feel like, okay, you want to try something different?
I guess the containment of the church house aspect, because like I said, even where I was going for church, it wasn't like so much as we're trying to force you to do this or do that, but it even still, like I said, you have those aspects of you must do this, you must do this, you must do that. And then, like I said, if you question it or go outside of anything, then it's kind of like, okay, well, so now that's what led me to just question other things outside of myself. And that's when I guess I kind of got into spirit, because I'm asking questions to humans who can't give me any answers. So now where do I go? So y'all keep telling me to go to the source. And if I can't go through you to get the answers that I need from the source, then that must mean that I have to go to the source.
Absolutely. So what does the source look like to you? And
Look like physically?
well, in your life.
Literally, I say I have always had a more better connection with spirit than human beings. So it's hard to answer that. I guess just you and I, it's the connections you come into with the people, because we're all energy. We all represent, everything represents spirit. So just being able to come across you all, be able to come across the One Band One Sound family, just certain let me know
Wait, we still can't hear you. Something happened. We lost your sound. Wait, we lost you.
me.
Wait. We lost your sound. There you go.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. Where'd you get left at?
Um. Oh shit. I can't even tell you where you stopped at. But you lost
Well,
your
I was
sound
just saying, just as far as
very briefly.
both aspects of the duality of spirit, just knowing how to resonate, what resonates with your spirit and what doesn't, in real time, as far as people, places, and things. So that's just how, for me, that I'm able to constantly activate and walk in the spirit, and what works for me.
Right. Because what works for you works for you. It doesn't have to work for anyone else. So that's
Absolutely.
what I was trying to get Raider to understand. Raider says that, nobody else has to believe in their beliefs, but we're not coming against your beliefs, because whatever you believe is your belief. We're giving you the floor because you had a lot to say in the chat, and I wanted you to be able to come up and speak your truth and say whatever that is to you. But I find that a lot of Catholics and Christians don't want to hold the debate. They want to be correct. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. Let me bring up a couple more people here. Gary, let's say what you got to say, Gary.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Greetings. I wanted to say that I was in the church once upon a time, and that I used to do like lives with like doing Bible study and things like that. And my cousin was my co-host, and I was doing it because I felt like I was so scared of going to hell, because this person always said to me, he's coming like a thief in the night. So I thought if I do this, maybe I can get into this heaven that was called, that was so good. So I thought this would save me. But the whole time, even reading this book, I never felt right, and I never really understood what the fuck I was reading. And I was like, "What is this?" And my cousin, mainly, she'd be talking, and they would ask me why he's not talking, because I'm like, I really don't get none of this. I don't get none of it. I don't understand it. It seems weird. Some shit is just off. And then I knew my last day was in the church when I went to my cousin's christening, and I was trying to shout, and I was just like, fuck it, this energy, I don't want it no more. I was just like, something is, I don't, I don't connect with this. What is this? And I was, remember crying, shouting, praying, like, come fix me. Then again, nobody ever fucking came, but my ancestors, and that's a fucking fact. And that's when I found Katita. They sent Katita to me exactly at that time, because I was saying to them, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Katita saved me. I want to say gratitude, Katita, to you for that. You saved me.
Gratitude, Gary.
You saved me.
Gratitude.
You don't understand, Katita. You don't really understand. When I met you in Myrtle Beach, you really saved me, because you touched my heart, touched me in such a place. I want to say gratitude for being my teacher. And because I'm one of the motherfuckers who can shut up and fucking learn, because I don't know nothing. I'm just here to say, save me, Katita, because I want to know what the fuck is going on, pretty much. Save the fuck out of me, because we need you. We need you out. And gratitude to Maya J. Love you, Maya. You my big sister. I love you. Love the whole panel. Love you. Love you, my family. Yes, we are one band, one sound. Love y'all.
Love
Love
you.
y'all.
Love you, Gary. Love you. And I appreciate that. We
Love
have
you too. Love you too, governess.
Reiki Love.
Yeah. Greetings. Yeah.
Greetings. How are you?
Good. How are I really appreciate. I'm a little nervous, but I'm so happy that this is sharing on a speaking of religion. I think it's such a controlling word. I remember being in a Christian. My mom kind of gave us up for a little bit, and not feeling right at 3 years old, 2, 3 years old, not feeling right on just what was being said out of the Bible at that time. And you go to hell, and just always letting us know we were sinners. That's what something I really remember. And then as I got older, I remember Catholic religion. Yeah, it gave us a beating. Those nuns, I was about the only dark girl at that time. And there was many, no offense, but it was like Mexican, really, a lot of Mexican at that time. My mom had me go to catechism, and I remember the nuns, they would verbally beat you by way of telling you you'll go to hell. And I was 12. And, now where I am and what I teach within myself and what I've learned, I have the opportunity to grow up in Chicago and see a lot of people pass. And what I mean is the opportunity to understand life and death. And so I moved to Northern California in my 30s and got to spend a lot of times up in the mountains with the trees, a lot of time near river and water. And that's when I understood what religion really was. So I'm so right now I'm just in gratitude that you're sharing this. People are lost and they don't have an understanding, and they have been beaten up just like that Catholic nun did to me. I was thinking all the time, everything I thought in my mind, I'm going to hell. And that was, my thought. So what I end up doing when I learned about trees and the river and the water, that became my deities. I didn't know what deities were, but that I just somehow paid attention to myself. And my hope is everyone on this panel, that they can have a knowing of themselves, everything you teach, a knowing that religion is definitely a control. It's like a controlled substance. It really is. And I really hope if anyone gets to take away from all the teaching and everything. I don't always get to get on your teachings. I admit I'm a mama, and I just feel take away that within ourself, we are religion, our own self. And I think it's so important so you can understand why you're here, how to work with deities, or how to work with, Yehuda and so forth. That is so important. So it's almost like soul food for me. And I really appreciate, I do.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Would anybody like to respond to Ms. Reiki?
No, it's okay.
Because she said a lot. She said a word. You know what I mean? She said a lot.
No,
Anybody want to respond to it now?
I do want to say that I love the moment when you said that religion, in a sense, is like an addiction to a drug, because I do, like, they're very parallel. And at this point, I don't know if religion is the drug or drug is the religion,
Right.
but I love that you said that, because people don't look at it from that aspect. When they hear others talking about their experience, they're only focused on your bashing your previous experience. And that's whether it comes to churches, relationships, family, businesses, whatever it is that you are attempting to disconnect from to find your higher and best self, or your highest and best self. But that hit home with it being that drug, and the fact that there is no rehab for this. Like,
There's
there's
not.
rehabs for all of the other addictions, but there is no rehab for this. There's a lot of shame. So I'll just add to what you were saying and say gratitude to the governors for creating space where we can be cousins and we can embrace each other. And for the moments when I call you crying when we're not on live, because I love you so much. Because these spaces are necessary. These conversations are necessary.
Yeah.
Let me go back on.
I was just gonna say the heartbreak you experience when you get out and you figure it all out and it starts to click and all. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else kind of go through that? Did anybody else,
Yes.
like, weren't you disappointed? Wasn't your heart kind of broken? Like, damn, like, anybody else kind of go through
Absolutely.
some depression? You know what I'm saying? It's a
Absolutely.
process. It's a process.
When they talking with church, they're always saying reborn and born again. And I just remember all that. It's so interesting how it flashes back with these topics. And really, what I didn't know I was going to move up to Northern California. That was all led. It just happened. And what gave me the most profound realization of who I was outside of going to hell and all this. And I keep repeating that because literally that's how we think and get programmed. Once I was able to get near large bodies of water, the river, the mountains, okay, I come from the concrete jungle, so I didn't know this exists. And once I did, it really it smacks you. You go through like withdrawal because what you knew you have to reprogram, and it will depress you. And you were taught this from a young age, so it's depressing. It can make you question yourself, question I'm a mother of 4 boys, so I'm just like questioning my motherhood and myself as a woman, my friends. And you know it's hard for people to understand how fear and controlling systems they can make or break you. And once you know, you can't unknow. And yeah, so that's
I
all I
just wanted
wanted
to
to add.
add to Reiki. I love how you said that the elements is what brought you together, because when you think about it, for me, it was the same thing. Like in when I was with the church and then being away, being in nature, it was a different aspect. When you think of these kids these days, they're so bound to technology and they're not getting back to earth, finding the escape, finding themselves and seeing themselves and understanding themselves within nature and everything that's going on around them. I think that was beautiful how you experienced it. You said they were your deities
Yeah.
because Adina said we are everything everywhere all at once. She is everything everywhere all at once. And I just love that, you actually took that in consideration long ago. And it made me think of that for myself and possibly anyone else on here that thought of it and didn't know your escape was always nature. It was Adina, gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. That's the truth. Yeah, my boys too. I've learned to bring them. I didn't grow them in a well. My oldest, he went to Christian school, and I ended up teaching there, and everything was meek and all those parts. So I helped him at age 12. Once we moved to California, I helped him adjust, and it was a struggle because we went from one extreme to this extreme of nature, and he learned how to fish, and he learned there was just so much learning within nature. And we helped each other at the time because again, I wasn't sure if I was even, this was the right thing. Maybe I'm gonna take my children with me going to hell, because am I supposed to be feeling this way? No, this is not how we were taught. And yeah, and no, we can't pray things away. We have to live within it. And at the time, I was with a man. My youngest son's dad is Rastafarian, and I was feeling that at that time. At that time, right now, I respectfully just feel who I need to be for myself. I'm still learning. I admit it. There are times I still think, am I gonna, you know, Juicy J can that programming, it doesn't really just shed. You have to, it takes years, just like it took years for me to add it on from a young girl all the way to this time. But I don't believe in just one particular religion. I believe that we are led to ourselves. We should be, so we can, fine tune ourselves like an instrument and feel out the music we're supposed to play here, you know, and help others on the way. And yeah, I do practice Reiki only because it became a form for me to understand more myself. But not that I say I practice it, not that I live that and I think it's the all one be one, all for myself. I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm learning just hearing everyone here. And I think that's what we're supposed to be doing, my own opinion. So
Well, I definitely appreciate you for sharing your story with us tonight, Reiki Love. I have not done an extensive amount of research on Catholicism. So it's interesting to hear that hell is being pushed across the board, across like multiple religions, if you will. So it's interesting for me to hear you speak about Catholicism being like, hey, you're gonna go to hell, because it was like a second skin.
Yeah.
In the Black church, in the Black community especially. And I want this. I remember when I first found Quatita, and I was kind of afraid to just step fully into it, because I was like, I have asked and asked for this thing to just work out. When I would leave one church and go to another one, I would be like, please God, let this work for me. Let this be it for me. Like, if this doesn't work, I'm never going to another church. I'm never believing in God ever again. I'm never, like, I already was pretty much fed up with the religion aspect of it. I was just going to church and I'm just going to do my own thing. But I was like, I don't know what my own thing is. I don't know
Wow.
anything anymore. I don't know what the fuck is going on at this point. You know what I'm saying? So when I found her, I wanted so badly for everything that she was saying to be right. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to believe in everything that she was speaking of. And like they would say, well, the devil has blessings too. You know what I'm saying? Like Juicy got blessings, but the devil got blessings too. And I'm like,
Hmm.
is she for
Huh.
real? Like, is she the devil? Like, would I know the devil if I saw it? Like, am I just so lost that I don't know what right or wrong is anymore? And so if you've ever been fortunate enough, any of you, anybody in the chat, anybody on the panel, if you've ever been fortunate enough to hear Papa when he comes through and he gets very emotional about talking about how he doesn't want to be sent back to the nothing, that's how serious it is for me. That is what I equate to the church, the nothing. So when he gets emotional and says, please don't send me back, I resonate with that so well, because I feel like I've been in this box for so long and it only has 4 sides and it's only so high and it's only big enough for me to be in there. So when I get out, it's like, okay, I've got 1 foot out. So now I've
Right.
got 1 foot over the cliff, right? And 1 foot out of the box, and I'm just trying to stay alive. And if I think about it long enough, because I realized how deep into it I was, like this, oh God, I was probably 2 seconds from finally trying to commit suicide for the last time. Like, that's just
Oh,
how bad it was. There was no way that I was gonna go back to it. I was like, if this is not it, you could just kill me now. So I
right.
really, really just appreciate you for sharing your story. Gratitude.
Yeah. Gratitude. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. Yeah.
gratitude, gratitude. There's a lot of self hatred in that. You hate yourself a lot in that. Everything you do is not good enough. Everything you do is wrong. The way you feel is wrong. It's total slavery, mental slavery. Totally.
I want to hear what Guided has to say, and then Malcolm. I don't know why Malcolm hadn't, but welcome to Malcolm, Guided, Airchild, Makiba. Um, Airchild, tell us what your views are as far as what religion is.
Okay, so
After this,
I've been wanting,
we a cult.
huh?
After this, they're gonna say we a cult, and then I didn't put y'all in some Kool Aid.
And child, you have to care. So the thing is with me, I've been wanting to tell this story, and I feel like I've told it, but not to nobody who ever listened, right? So I used to always like, okay, so let's start off first with me being an Aquarius. So I'm always isolated. Unconsciously, I do it unconsciously. Sometimes I don't even know that I'm doing it unless somebody tap me and say like, you haven't paid me no attention, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, my bad, kind of thing. So I'm always sitting with self. So I've always kind of felt, good about it until people made me feel bad about it. And like with you, when you said that you had to like sit in the closet and sit with self, to that's how I view my isolation or my introvertness, if that's a word. But um, when I was younger, I never really felt like I belonged anywhere. Like in my family, my friends. Sometimes I felt like I just had friends because I thought I was supposed to have friends. Until like this point in my life now, where my friends are very. It's like I'm friends with everybody, but I don't. Everybody is not my friend, if that makes sense to anybody on the panel. But when I was younger, I had a cousin who always like went to church, and because we were so close, I just went to church too because I always wanted to be like close with her. And so I went to this church, and it was the whole little, if it got to the point, because I'm gonna make a long story short, it got to the point where they were like, come on up, if you want to give your life over to Christ and so and so. So I'm like, okay, this must be the day that I'm doing it. Mind you, I've done this before. I've even been baptized. Did it mean anything to me? No, I just did it because we were sent to sent with this white guy who basically came and picked us all up in the school bus, and we were like in this church, and then we had to get baptized and blah blah blah. It was like basically something, go to this, so the parents can have some time away. Y'all all go take a lunch kind of thing. So I used to look at those things as like a field trip, a field trip out the hood, even though we just went down the street to a church. It was weird. But anyways, so I went to this church with her. They was like, anybody want to come up, give your life over to Christ? I went up there. And as he, laid hands and, he said what he said, he kept pushing me, like, trying to like mush me back, trying to make me fall, I guess, for me to act slain in the spirit, I guess. And the two ladies who were behind me, they were just like, just go ahead and fall, because like, he kept pushing me, but I kept catching my balance. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm telling them in the back of me, like, no, I don't feel weak. And they were just like, just go ahead and fall. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I walked back to my seat after he said everything he said. And my gut, like the whole time, my gut was just telling me, like, don't ever come back here. This is not it. So I followed my gut and I never went back. Now, to fast forward to me finding governess, I don't know what it was. My memory is still kind of hazy about how I found you. It was Papa Legba that brought me to you because I don't know how I came across Papa Legba, but I clicked on it. And don't you know how sometimes you're on YouTube and you click something and it goes to the next thing and then it goes to the next thing? And I think something came up about Papa Legba, and I just kept looking at videos about Papa Legba, Papa Legba, Papa Legba. And I saw your video. I think I saw like the part 2 to the video, and some told me like, okay, click on her page and go to find the first part. So I went to your page, I found the first part, and then I listened to the second part, and I think I watched that video for a while. Like I just kept watching it. And I just like, from then on, it's like always been like this, discovering all of these things that make so much sense to me, because all of the movies that you mentioned, all of the signs that were put in our face, I've witnessed those, I've seen them and had questions and thoughts about it. Now even looking at like other traditions, because I believe in those traditions too, Ifa, voodoo, you know, hoodoo, as well as, I want to say just a tiny bit of the saints, only specifically because when in hoodoo they say that in order for them to be able to practice what they needed to practice, they hid some of the traditional deities or energies behind those figures so they can still practice, and the slave owners would think that they were basically worshiping the saints in the Bible that they gave us. So I feel like that's why I keep saying it too. Like when you always mention, these are the deities on different frequencies. That's why I keep saying it and keep bringing it up, because it's registering to me so deeply that all of these different things that that we practice as a I don't want to say African American, but as Melanites, it all holds weight in regards to the things that I've learned from you now. So I believe in all of it, but I would say that my belief base is in the deities, because even with them, they're giving us so much information, and it's trickling on down into everything that I ever witnessed coming up until this point. So that's what I want to say. My beliefs is I believe in it all. My mind is not closed. Well, not Christianity. I don't believe in it. That was just some foolishness that I felt like I was dabbling in because I didn't really have a place to belong. And I never actually felt the need to actually belong because I've always been to myself. That's why I don't know. I can understand because I have common sense, but sometimes, like my first man, when I hear somebody say oh, I'm feeling this way or I'm feeling this type of way, and I'll be thinking like, okay, why are you feeling like that? Sometimes it don't register to me until I actually sit down and think about like, okay, well, this is their experience. Everybody's not going to think the way you think. Everybody's not going to feel the things that you feel, and so that's basically just been what I basically said a mouthful. So hopefully you get the scope of my responses and the things that I put in the Yeah. chat while we're doing classes and things like that, because I can relate to everything that you basically post. I'm always throwing something out there like this movie or that movie or this, this particular thing. So I hope I don't get on your nerves with that. I don't be
You're
trying to. I
fine,
just be
and I
wanting to,
appreciate
not
it.
even to like really have validation, but just to share what I see that I feel like other people are may not picking up on. So I try to throw it out there so everybody can see this is what she's talking about. This is what kind of relates to what she's saying. If you've seen this movie, then you'll kind of have an idea.
I
So,
appreciate it all.
but I
Um,
show much again. I'm always going to show the utmost gratitude to you and to Spirit, as always.
I definitely appreciate it, and I show gratitude to you. You've been with me for a very long time.
Yeah, two
You
and a
had a
half
different name
years.
when you started. You was
Yeah,
under a
two and a
different
half
name at
years
first.
because I was with you before I actually was like with you. I just didn't know
Hmm.
that I was with you because again, it was Papa Leg, but that led me to you. And I've been like, I had a reading with someone and they told me that like, there's somebody trying to like give you things. They trying to step forward for you. And when she told me who it was, she was saying it was Papa Legba. And I was just like, it scared the crap out of me because because of what I started hearing other people saying, what I was reading about him. But then like discovering Papa Candelo and realizing that all of these people, I mean, all of these energies are basically an extension of Papa Candelo. Well, Papa Candelo. Who's above Papa Candelo? I'm still learning, y'all. Don't get me wrong. But all of these basically are like different energies and different frequencies of the same spirit.
Yes.
So now I have a better understanding that Papa Legba was never here to harm me. If he was stepping forward for me, he was never here to harm me. I just needed to see and understand that.
Right.
So now all of those negative connotations that I had of him in my mind basically all disappeared when I realized that Papa Candelo is actually a sweetheart and he really cares. And one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to play with him because he's only here for your healing. And if you're not going to do the work, then it's just like, to hell with you. Like Papa say, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know?
Gratitude.
Yeah,
Um,
gratitude.
we got someone new. Malcolm is new to us,
Hey,
or
what's
that
up, yo?
we've seen is new. How are you,
I'm
Malcolm?
doing good. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
We
so
sure
I don't know
can.
what's going on with my camera. You can't see me. I'm looking all good and stuff. Y'all can't even see me.
I know it's dark. It seems like you
I
don't
don't
have
get
any
what's
lights
going
on.
on. Well, I'm fully lit. I put on a light in the house, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with the app or whatever. But yeah, man, I wanted to jump in on this. I noticed you had put out a call for people who were experienced in religions and stuff. But yeah, for me personally, I grew up Catholic. My mom's side of the family, which is really small, was Baptist. My dad's side, I'm gonna put up my profile picture because I don't know what's going on with my camera. But my dad's side is like devout Catholic.
Okay.
And then when the matriarch of our family, the mom on my mom's side, my grandma, my maternal grandmother passed, we were going to prepare the Baptist church for to do her funeral and all that. They pulled her donation statements from how much my grandmother had donated to this Baptist church to actually perform her services, and they said it was not enough for the head pastor. I won't say his name because it's a famous church here in New Orleans, but they couldn't get the pastor himself to do it, but they got someone else to do it that was kind of beneath him. And then from then on, I was about in college at this time. Then our family just kept going because we liked the freedom of being able to praise God without this ceremony and stuff that you had to do in the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church is so rigid. And so my dad and his family decided to convert to Baptist. I kind of remained neutral. I was completing college at the time. Like, religion wasn't my focus, and it really never really was my focus. But the Catholic Church is so rigid. But then with the Baptist Church, you have all that, the shouting, the tambourines, and the songs and all that stuff. And you have more freedom to praise God freely. But then behind the scenes, there's so much political madness. And by my mom, like I said, my mom being Baptist and my dad being Catholic, I got to see like both sides, and I didn't like either one. So then I started
Mm.
delving into the power I had within. And then I came to like your channel. And no offense, I followed Alexis K. Tyler for a long time. She's been on like public access, Atlanta public access in the early like 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Just all these awakening channels.
Yes.
And they taught me about the power of self. So anytime it came to religion, I just kind of kept quiet and I just practiced what felt good to me. And now being 37 years of age, I'm like, okay, we gonna have to figure out what we gonna do with my body if something were to happen. But I'm not for the abuses that's in the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also not for the abuses that's in the Baptist. So for me, it's spirituality all the way around. You put me on to Yehuda, to Tetron, all of the deities, all the high deities that we know of and the ones that we don't know of. I
Mm-hmm.
reach out to them. And I looked at it from a holistic perspective. They don't want you to go into the temple of greatness that is yourself, especially if you're a Melanin.
Yes.
Boy, if you're a Melanin, you have powers that are limitless. They don't want you to delve
Mm-hmm.
into that. And to an extent, I almost kind of agree with it because my CPA said this. She said they put out a virus. Y'all went and brought toilet tissue.
Mm.
So some people need control. Some people need to be told what to do. But then you have people like us that can rationalize and think for ourselves and be able to make like educated and informed decisions on what to do. And that's not afraid to explore our divinity without abusing it or doing something stupid and senseless. But had I picked a side, like I was saying, the differences on the sides of my family, had I picked a side, I would have never have known about the divinity I have within.
Mm.
And that's what they don't want.
Yes. Gratitude.
That's what they
Gratitude.
don't want. They don't want you to awaken. They don't want you to. And if you do, because I'll say this, I got my master's from a Catholic university. I've been a Catholic school from pre-K all the way to my master's. I pledged the Black Greek Christian um, organization. I'm a Mason, Master Mason. All of this stuff revolves around the Bible. A
Yes.
lot of it comes from Masonry, and Masonry comes from higher powers. So I eliminated all that man made shit and I went straight for the divinity, and that's where I am now. Now, as far as what they gonna do with my body, I'm still registered as Catholic. That's what my records indicate. I ain't switching over. I ain't got time to learn nothing else. All that. I'm not doing nothing else man made. It's spirituality for me. It's Yehuda for me. It's Adina for me. Like, it is the high deities for me. And like I said, all the things that I was taught in Masonry, all the things that I was taught in, Black Greek letter societies, I eliminated all that man-made stuff and I'm going straight for spirit. You know what I'm saying? I'm eliminating all that and I'm going straight for the divine information, my damn self. I
Yeah.
don't need no man to, you could teach me some stuff, but it's on me whether to pick it up and run with it. But I'm not doing nothing nobody else says. And the last thing, I feel like I'm running my mouth, but the corporal punishment. My high school down here in New Orleans is infamous for that. We would get paddled for the simplest stuff. Like if one person dropped a pen, and again, this is a black and Catholic high school, we would get like in trouble. They called it a round robin. If one person did something, talked out of line, or dropped a pen or said something, the whole class would get paddled. Catholics are more focused on discipline, as to where Baptists are more focused on abuses around money and sexuality.
Absolutely.
Now, I know like Catholics, they have the whole molestation thing, but a lot of my friends, especially those that are, in the LGBTQ community, a lot of them have been abused, sexually abused in the church. All their stories of sexual abuse came from the church. It was not from schools, it was not from daycares. All their abuse and their violators were in the church, if it was not the pastors themselves.
Mm-hmm. No lies. No lies. And first of all, let me say, I show gratitude to you for coming up
No,
and
gratitude to you.
speaking. You know, you
Gratitude to
know,
all of y'all, man.
it just touched me in such a way because it was a realization again of what the fuck is happening right now. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah,
movement. It,
yeah.
I think what you have to, this is what I've been saying for a very long time, is I understand like when you get up here, certain people do certain things, it pulls on your energy, and you have to address so much when you're trying to just teach and heal. And sometimes you get to a point where you feel like you don't want to do it. But I feel like it's moments and little things that happen along the way that makes it worth it. So as long as you can hold on to that, we're gonna see it through. We're gonna see it all the way to the end of this. I'm a true believer of that. I have so much faith in self as well as so much more faith in you, because I don't believe for 1 second, for an inkling, that the things that the people try to put out here about you penetrates. Like it shouldn't penetrate anyone's hearts, feelings, or thoughts, in regards to that, because we know what we see and what I've witnessed from you. No, it's nothing nobody can tell me. I've seen how big your heart is. I've seen how you put your life on the line to get these messages out here. Like, if you're willing to put your life down and sacrifice for me, I'm going to repay that. I can do that for you.
Got it. Are you talking
Period.
about governance in particular? Are you talking about governance explicitly?
I'm talking about any of the cousins who are true cousins.
Yeah,
If you're out here and you're scratching my back, best believe my hands are right behind you scratching yours as well.
yeah.
Because that's what
I
sense of
agree.
community is for. That's what we're all here to do. We're here to help and pull one another up. So I know it get frustrating when we're down in a chat and there's so much negativity. Some people just can't be taught. Some people are unlearning a lot of behaviors. We have to deal with it accordingly, and sometimes it leads
Agreed.
to a point where it's just mess.
yeah.
But it's our mess. We're doing the work to clean it up. I think that's
Gratitude.
what's most important.
At
Gratitude.
least we forget. You have some motherfuckers that's just aimless, dog. You got some people that are just aimless. Let's not make excuses for that. You got some people that's just aimless. If there's something that I do not wish to have in my experience, I'm swiping channels. I'm switching the channels. I'm not like I'm into whatever.
Yeah.
So why am I watching HGTV if I'm not into plants and homes and lifestyles? I'm gonna
Correct.
switch it to something that I'm into. I'm not gonna hate on the HGTV, for example. I'm just gonna switch the channel. So
That's
you
it.
got
Yeah, I bring
motherfuckers
it
that
back
are
to
just
frequency.
toxic.
Yeah,
Gratitude.
I bring it back to what we feel on our that's the part that I had to really instill into my son and myself, okay, to unlearn. is a hard factor within self. It's hard to, even if we find the governance channel and all this mess is going on in the chat, we have so much programming within ourselves. I mean, the Catholic, I give so much. I had a lot of anger with the Catholic religion. So reasoning is because all of what we had to say, all the different, you really are chanting these words from a young age, so you have to unlearn it. So when you find someone like the governess and you relate and the frequency feels so strong, then there's all this different mess going on. You're in a battlefield of self.
Yes.
You're in a battle, and so I'm not saying making excuses or anyone's behaviors how they handle you, because they can't look at their self.
Yes.
So I had to, being a mom of 4 boys, it's a lot to, like, you have to teach.
Go ahead, Malika.
Governor.
I wanted to hear from Nia as well. So when she comes back up, I want to hear from her as well. Go ahead, Malika. I would love to hear what you're about to say.
So I just wanted to say that I have learned something major tonight, and I'm going through a lot today, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know if I was going to make it here tonight, but I'm so glad that I did, because I'm realizing now with those different schools I was in, from my primary to through elementary, middle school, which would have been like my Episcopal. What I'm realizing is I've been growing up based on what I've been taught in my home, and I'm looking at these people and these experiences of these groups of people, not categorizing it by religion, but just that humans are fucked up. And I'm realizing now the impact, even hearing Malcolm's experience between Baptist and Catholic, because my mom's mom, Catholic. And but her Catholic church that she was in supported her greatly. She was even allowed to go up and she would do sermons, which you never hear of in Catholic churches. So it was a little bit different, but it was all Catholic. Like when she came to visit, I knew I was going to Catholic church and I was going to have to get down on my knees, get back up, get down on my knees, get back up. The same rigidness that he's talking about. And then my dad's mom was the Baptist side. And I didn't correlate the fact that the teachings is what made these groups of people act in this manner. From the Episcopalian school that I went to, where when the children talked too much, and I was in preschool and first grade, they would make them stand and hold books, heavy books, and make them hold their hands out. And I remember seeing these kids at the front of the class with these books stacked up, crying, and they would leave like teenage students in the room with them, to then going on to the Catholic school. And all of those, and Maya, what you said earlier, they definitely speak a lot about the devil and hell, more than they do anything else, except for when we found out our principal was a pedophile. And then that rigidity and those rules and all of those things with him touching these young kids, the preschoolers to be exact. Dr. Hugs didn't get that rigidity and that hell conversation and all of those things, because that's what he wanted us to call him, because we hugged him on the way into school. And then with the Baptist, the mess. So I just wanted to say gratitude for that, because I never put those. I'm thinking these are all just really fucked up humans, and how dare they and have children around this. But it really is based on the way the religion is taught to them through this book. So that's all I wanted to say.
Gratitude, Malika. Miss Nia, if we could hear from you, and then we'll hear from the panel itself, and we'll wrap it up. This was great, you guys. And I appreciate for everyone who did not get to come up as well. Tell us about your religion, Nia.
Yes. Hey everybody. I'm a little nervous. I say my religious experience was kind of different than a lot of my friends. We were in church, I think, for about, I think I was in elementary when we stopped going. In our little neighborhood, I live in Houston. We there was a church not too far, so we all went to that church. And I think when sometime in elementary, when I was in 4th grade, we moved in with my grandma across town on the north side. So I would like to say my mom kind of says that's the reason why we stopped going to church, because it wasn't her church. She didn't want to go to that one, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because we really didn't have a forced upbringing of church pretty much after that. That's why I can't really remember too much of like church, like, which is a good thing. Or I would fall asleep a lot of times in church. And I like the choir and stuff. Like I always, because I was also in choir in school, but like that's pretty much it. I really didn't absorb a lot of it. And yeah, I'm only 25, so this kind of, I felt like we were kind of like me and my brother were the different kids, because like we weren't forced to go to church. Through elementary, when I would go to my friend's house, like they would, I would go to church with them, and I didn't like how they would have offering service like 3 times, you know, while we were there. Like this other church, I just thought it was weird. I'm like, why do they have to take out everybody's money? So like fast forward to when we lived with my grandmother, like rest her soul, she just passed away in February. And our relationship was actually very rocky because of church. I would say that's how like church affected me. It's my dad's mom. So I lived with her probably from 6th grade to like when I went to college. I wasn't with them, but like she lived with my dad because he did her dialysis from home. So like that's why she moved with us. When I was in 6th grade. So but like I just remember like arguments. Like I would overhear my parents arguing, like because my dad would give her money to pay like the bills, and she would give it to the church. And like I just remember like Christmases and stuff, like we would see all the house would be kind of full to the front of Christmas gifts, and like we realized none of it was like would be for us. Like she would be like, it's kids like less fortunate, so like y'all, this is for them, y'all don't really need nothing, or like she would get us socks or something. And it really hurt our feelings. We kind of didn't have the best relationship with her, because that's really what strayed me away too from the church, because I'm like, this lady kind of treat us like shit. And she's supposed to be our grandma, like. And so I really didn't have a relationship with her until the last I would say kind of when I went to college, which is kind of when I had my like spiritual awakening, I would say, in 2017, when I lost my great grandma, and that's the one on my mom's side. I only went to church growing up with her for like Easter, and like that, pretty much that's it. I did it. I have her altars over here. That's why I keep looking at them. Yeah, I did it for her. I really, it never resonated. And also another part to it, my dad kind of was the one, I found out later on, who took us out of church. When we did go, when I was younger, I would see him leave every time. He would come with us and then he would leave. And so in my mind, I'm like, why does daddy like not stay? He had his own little awakening, then too. So he took us out. I found out later. He didn't want us to go. And he kind of like, that kind of made me like the weird kid amongst my friends, because I was so like, like, yeah, my parents don't make us go. Yeah, we watch like movies about aliens and like documentaries, and everybody would be like, okay. And, they would want to come to my house because it was something different. So I feel like that was like I said, a blessing in disguise. I really wasn't like forced. I was able to like, I kind of went into the Rastafarian thing too. I was looking up Bob Marley. I was like looking at Buddhism kind of in high school. And then in 2017, I felt like I had an awakening after my great grandmother passed on my mom's side. And I definitely didn't have anybody to go to church for then now. So I was kind of open, and I was in college trying to wake people up, trying to tell people we're slaves. And yeah, it kind of went real fast for me once the information started to flow. My dad kind of basically, I would say, was the one who I chose to be the one, so I won't be so deep into it. Like I said, I'm only 25, and like I said, I was always looking for like a home or a family kind of with spirituality. So when all that stuff happened in 2017, when I lost a lot of family members, especially my great grandmother, kind of like flung me into kind of a depression, I guess. I started to come into spirituality, and one of my best friends, I actually put her on to you, Miss Quatita. Her name's Jada. My aunt is Simplistic Beauty. Like we all, after I found you, basically we all, my people who got it, and we've been rocking ever since. Like I use you in
gratitude.
Like they know, yeah, gratitude to you. I use, it's like common language. Like even with my spiritual friends, like, yeah, Quatita said, the lady I be telling y'all about, Quatita. They were like, yeah. Okay, I'm like, okay, let's talk,
Like that.
you know. So
It's
like,
mind blowing to me.
yeah, like, and honestly, Miss Katita, oh, the best part. Okay, let me fast forward. I was actually, I didn't have like any money at all, and oh, this was making me cry.
It's wonderful. The youth. That's wonderful.
Um, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed.
It's okay, don't be, because I was crying a minute ago.
Don't be
Glad your child
embarrassed.
jumped in. I was about to be blubbering.
Don't be
I didn't
embarrassed at
have any
all.
money, and like I kind of was kind of in like down in the dumps, and I like laid down, and your live popped up, and I was like, let me just get on this live. Let me, you know, I'm glad like you take my mind off of a lot of stuff, and it reminds me like why I'm really here for real. And you were giving away money or something. I was like, what? And I don't know if you're. My name was Cosmic Goddess. I changed it one time because I needed like my name to be put on something, so I changed it. And but that was me. And I was, you were just going through. You were putting names, and I just put, you know, like, you know, whatever you can give. Like I was just typing, like just hoping, like, man, you called my name, and it's like I was about to exit out of it because I was like, nah, it's okay. And I went downstairs by my boyfriend, and he heard it when I heard you said Cosmic Goddess. That $200 paid my light bill. Like it really helped a lot. And then I paint. Well, I'm not a painter. It's one of my skills is I paint. And I had this lion picture already, but I instantly like made him an altar, and like I wrote Yehuda. I didn't spell the governor right. Don't laugh at me, y'all. But like this is on his altar right now, and like I got him like some like mini muffin, like strawberry muffins. Like not even ever since then. Like I already knew it was the truth, but like it just to feel like did y'all heard me like that sent me over. So like I've been definitely in my home. I'm on this live all the time. Like y'all like my family away from home. Being like I said, the free spirited child. Like all of my people that are on my altar were, you know, Christianity believers. And I know that the only reason why they are like I can hear them, like they come to me, we talk, like my granny told me what to put on her altar, like when I was in the store, when I'm in the house, like I can hear them. And I know the only way they come to me is because I was the furthest away from that. Even though I still like did it for them in a way, I still was so far away from that to y'all. Like I said, we were watching alien stuff, and I was looking up astral projection young, and like I already knew that it was more than all of that stuff. I didn't even care. Like my mom was so, what else? Like what? Ooh, let me see. You know what I can discover and find. We weren't, me and my brother pretty much were like that. Very, my mom calls it like militant because we don't go for none of that. But yeah, that's my religion story. So yeah.
Well, gratitude. Gratitude for saying so. And I do remember when your name was the other name. So I thought you were new, but you're not. I remember that name. I appreciate you, and I'm glad the spirit moved quickly in such a way, you know what I mean, that made themselves real for you and to you. Um, this show was much needed, and I saw somebody say, "Can we get a part two?" And most likely, you know, absolutely. Uh, I appreciate each and every one. I'm not going to give my speech yet. I'm going to go around, and I want everyone else to say what they need to say from our original panel, from Let's Have a Conversation panel. I'd like to start with Maya J, please.
I'm just gonna say gratitude to the panel for being open and having this discussion. To you, Quatita, for even suggesting it. And I'm gonna quit now because I'm a river.
You got me right as I'm chewing on this ice. Same. I mean, is Maya crying? She turned off her camera. I was about to turn mine off too. Listen, Nia, you don't understand. And when I see them crying, governess, we can't hear you.
I'm saying, yes, she was crying a moment ago. She was walking around crying. So, yeah.
I was about to cut it off. I had to pull it back in. I was like, "Oh, I know my eyes look red as anything right now." Nia, that was amazing and beautiful, and everything that is supposed to be this. I don't even know what name to put on this. I'm just happy to be here. I feel privileged to be here. I feel privileged to have a space in the governess's life where I have the opportunity to embrace her in person and from a distance, because I know she feels it. I know she adores it. I know she reveres us. I know she respects us as much as we do her. Um, I'm grateful to have a teacher as obedient that I could strive to live up to, even when she doesn't see her own worth. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have my cousins. I'm grateful for the banter. I'm grateful for the fact that I don't have to fear topics of conversation, because y'all already know some of the conversations we can get into it. And then, you have these other enlightening up, but that's family, right? So I guess more than anything, aside from religion, anything else that you would compare or parallel this to, the one thing that this is true family, every piece of it. And I'm grateful to the governess for creating that and pushing through, no matter what punches or hits come in her way or come her way, and providing a space for us, continuing to, even when she doesn't even know if she has the energy for herself, continuing to find it for us. So gratitude, gratitude, and gratitude. And I'm going to turn my camera off now because I love you.
Yeah. Charming.
All right. Well, I want to say gratitude to the cousins who in the panel to speak about their experience, because, there is a lot of trauma within those experiences with the church. And sometimes it's really hard to share that and feel like you can be heard. So gratitude, governess, for creating the space so we could talk about this, judgment free. And, I want to say gratitude to Malcolm for coming up, because I always, think about like, how did I come across this? Like, it's one of those things where, we all say like, we don't even really remember how we, came across this, but it is so like, it's so crazy and surreal to see how it continues to be spread around, and people can feel the truth and the honesty and the spirit in what you're telling them, just like we did, like just like I did, just like we all did. So, I hope the panel enjoyed, because this was very insightful, and so many different experiences really lets like we all live in different realms and we all have our own experiences, but they all exist within each other, so.
Gratitude. Love you, Charming. Love you, Malika. Love you,
Love
Mike.
you.
Carbon.
Just gratitude for everybody that shared today and their experiences. Gratitude to the panel. Gratitude to the committee. Gratitude to you, governess. Just for taking a chance and trusting one of the dicks, as you like to say. I appreciate that, because you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? No, real talk. The fact I know you have the trust issues that you have, and that you would even consider me, that means a lot to me. The fact you open up these platforms for us. You're an amazing person, and just know you're very appreciated and you're very much loved, and I just need you to know I got your back. I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the loyal ones, and I ain't going nowhere no time soon. So gratitude to everybody, and I love all of you guys.
Love you back. Jose Colon.
I just want to say gratitude to the whole chat. A part of my soul feels leveled up throughout this whole experience. And I feel like we've all been trying to find each other for so long. And it feels so good to know we've all found what we've all been looking for. I want to say gratitude, Quatita, because
Oh, shoot.
oh,
Oh,
what
shoot.
didn't happen?
Whoa, what was that?
Energy.
Spirit said gratitude.
Energy.
Yeah. And I definitely just want to say gratitude, because I found you long ago in 2019. If it wasn't for Precious and Jerry, which and I don't want to be long-winded, but gratitude to them, my soul family, because you've changed me. I don't want to get emotional, but you've made a lot. You've made a lot, and you've opened so many doors in my realm and everybody's realm in the chat. I love you. We love you, and
I love
I
you
just
back.
want you to know I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the panel. I'm gonna click off.
Gratitude. Okay. This show genuinely was never about me. You know what I'm saying? I would do this. I would die and come back 1,000,000 times and do it again. Because it means that much to me. The level of healing. Because we're all hurt and we're all fucked up. And we're all traumatized from a false indoctrination of lies that we depended on to save our existence, and it's killing the fuck out of us. And I understand. Child, let me bring Malcolm up here. Look at Malcolm.
Yo,
Malcolm.
Hey, Malcolm. Ass.
We understand
Ass. I'm sorry,
on
y'all
on
got
a
me
different
crying.
level of what this is. And I love Yehuda, and I love Adina, and I love the deities, and I love the High Council, and above all, I love us. Without us, everything stops. Everything ceases to exist. And I want everybody to understand that. It is the melanite frequency that makes the world continue on. We are stuck here. And as long as we are stuck here, we might as well make the best of it and rise to the frequency so we can get out of it and we can level up. And whatever your understanding of your religious beliefs or your spiritual beliefs are, I want you to allow it to work for you so you can grow and rise in your frequency. And maybe if it's not what we believe, then maybe it'll take you to another place that's going to help you achieve the same goal. I love everyone from a very genuine place. And I show gratitude for coming on and being truthful and owning whatever it is that you own in your level of understanding of spirit. Because for me, it's Yehuda only. Somebody said earlier they're a Yehudist, and I can resonate with that. So gratitude to everyone who came up, who shared their stories. Mr. Christopher, Malcolm, even Miss McClendon that was in the chat in the back, Makiba, Reiki Love, Nia, the Rebel, and everyone else that came up. Gratitude, Chaz, for working the chat for us tonight. And I show gratitude and love, y'all. One band, one sound, and that's what that means. You know, gratitude to our panel, and we're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna keep, pushing forward. And that's what the fuck it is. We're gonna do a part 2 too. All right.
Gratitude. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, y'all.
Gratitude.
You too, everyone.
Gratitude, family. Love y'all.
Gratitude.
Y'all.